What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. You are watching AMS Live. My name is Boy and we're back at Polderbaan, which is used for the arrivals today with wind blowing from the southeast. And yeah, showers in the east of the country. Over here in the west it looks like it is going to stay dry. Means we have somewhat cloudy weather, although the sun is now also shining and there's definitely parts where the sky is blue over here. If all is well, this should be the first day that they aren't going to close the Polderbaan when it's used for arrivals during sunny conditions between 10 and 12 a.m. or 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. I should say. We'll see. Bezoekbus hadn't updated yet. But the earlier reports about the measure said it was until and not including up to and including the 23rd. So if all is well, yesterday was the last day that they took those measures. We'll see if they are still going to close the runway between 10 and 12. It's going to make for a boring stream, I think. We'll see. In the meantime, good morning to all who have joined. Wolfgang, guten Morgen. Maria, good evening. Gratje, goedemorgen. Lee, good morning. Ricardo, goedemorgen. Drew, goedemorgen. Tina, goedemorgen. Danny, goedemorgen. Jillard, goedemorgen. Carlos, Dirk, Leo, QJ, good morning one and all. Polderbaan arrivals, glide slope shots as we are used to them. Lufthansa flight 988, arrival from Frankfurt in the foreground. And the airplane that is behind it is KLM flight 702, arriving from Buenos Aires. So this is Lufthansa flight 988, arriving from Frankfurt. 49 minutes on the way, 14-year-old airplane, first flight May 2010. Roadhouse, goedemorgen, good morning. Ari, Ohio gozaimasu, good morning. Professional Jerry, goedemorgen. Jetstream Journeys, goedemorgen. Dini, goedemorgen. Eolus Capital, goedemorgen. Patrick, goedemorgen. Edelweiss, good morning, guten morgen. Chris, goedemorgen. Hederdans, good morning. Hank, goedemorgen. Michael, goedemorgen. Sweet Core, good morning. Welcome to the show, one and all. Big picture overview. This is what it looks like. You can see more darkness to the east, land inward. That's where the showers are still at. You can also see it further away. This is looking straight to the north. This is looking to the west, to the sea, the North Sea. Again, the east. This is looking to the south. Gerin, goedemorgen. Bart, goedemorgen. Trucker Nick, goedemorgen. Lena, goedemorgen. Bear with me, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, one and all. KLM flight 702 arriving from Buenos Aires. It's a 7879 Dreamliner. Flight time 12 hours and 35 minutes. The PHBHM, 7 years old, first flight August 2017. Marianne, goedemorgen. Peter, good morning. Matthijs, goedemorgen. Lachen met Dennis, goedemorgen. Wilhelm, good morning. Peter, goedemorgen. Hey there, Sarah. You're up early or up still late. Welcome back. Hey there, Chris. Right, so I gave it a go filming in my sweater only with the wind. It is still a bit chilly. If there hadn't been any wind, it would have been terrific. So I'm quickly going to put on my parka and relocate my DJI mic receiver. No transmitter. There we go. Our next airplane coming in is a 777-200 arriving from Edmonton, Canada, and there is a Chinese triple somewhere behind it. There it is. Double triple time. KLM flight 676 is arriving from Edmonton, Canada. Flown, operated by KLM Asia, this flight. 7 hours and 45 minutes the flight time. This is the PHBQN Bravo Quebec, November. 18-year-old airplane. Old enough to vote and drive a car here in the Netherlands. First flight April 2006. Gerard, goedemorgen. Dolf, goedemorgen. Aviator, goedemorgen. Hey, Vliegtuigspotters Nederland. There's one of the two young lads that took a selfie with me yesterday. Leuk. Leuke dag gehad gisteren verder. I'm asking if they had a nice day yesterday. Church is over and everybody coming to AMS Live. Indeed, Peter. Good morning. Oh, and KT. Martien, goedemorgen. Silkeneder, goedemorgen. Romin, good morning. Goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. So, I've had a look at Flight Radar. There are two 747s coming in and the A380. A380 is early today. No, wait. I think it was on its regular schedule. Yesterday was early, wasn't it? Anyway, Chinese triple coming in, and behind it, Delta Airlines flight 136 arriving from Detroit. The Chinese triple is coming in from Shanghai in China. That's China Southern Cargo. Flight 451, flight time 11 hours and 21 minutes. The airplanes are crabbing, but they're crabbing away from us, so it doesn't look as spectacular as when there's southwesterly wind blowing and the airplanes are facing us. If anything, they're facing a little bit further away from us. This is a 777 freighter, 5 years old. First flight February 2020. Adi, goedemorgen. And all others who have joined. Kaas Capri-san, good morning. Hen Air, good morning. Leon, Jay, good morning. Christine Ann, good morning. Good evening to you, I should say. Would you like some complimentary reverser action with this landing? Yes, please. How much do you want? All of it. Thank you. Jay says, good morning, boy. I have a question. I was at that spot yesterday. I heard a strange beep once in a while. Do you know what the beep is for? Nope, I still don't till to date. I've heard it as well. And many people have heard it in the streams as well. You could probably hear it over here in my stream today as well. I'm uncertain about what it is. If it is from Schiphol, if it is from one of the farmers who has land next to Schiphol. It's something you only seem to be hearing here on occasion. Donald and Daisy are also awake. Up early, exception to the rule. Normally they're known as night owls and only feature in the show later. But there you go. Breakfast. Sunday breakfast. Lovely. Vliegtuigspotters Nederland asks if I'm going on vacation somewhere. I don't have any plans just yet. So for the time being the answer is no. This is Delta Airlines flight 136 arriving from Detroit, Michigan. 7 hours and 15 minutes it has flown to get here. Now touching down. November 816 November Whiskey, 18 years old. Oh, also a little bit of reverse action. Not too bad, not too bad. Good morning, Ewald. Good morning, John. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Farmer22. Good morning, Gravely Lewis. Mika, good morning. Good morning, one and all. Grüße zurück nach Hamburg. Guten Morgen. Herzlich willkommen. DDH Airport. Daniel, good morning. Ian, good morning. Welcome to the show, one and all. Happy Sunday to you all. LL is coming in next. Flight 337 arriving from Tel Aviv. 4 hours 42 minutes underway. It is a 737-900, 11 years old, 4XEHB, the registration. Looks like KM Malta is going to be next. Also, TUI Dreamliner underway. Question is, can I already see it? On paper, I ought to be able to see it, although it does look on flight radar like it is flying a little bit further off the coast than they normally approach. You can see how the sun is beautifully illuminating the airplane. Oh, territorial coots. What are you guys doing? Leave Donald and Daisy alone. Right, well, the two parties seem to have separated and are going their own way. Looks like one of the coots already had a case of the Mondays. Hey there, Miri. Hey there, Klaus. Hey there, Pilteke. Loco, good morning. Oh, damp, soggy, wet, miserable, grey North Yorkshire. That sounds horrible. No spring in North Yorkshire just yet, seemingly. Jörg also back in the chat. Good morning, Jörg. Good to see you again, mate. Now, even though it is still early, already quite a few people are up and around here. Actually, lovely to see on both sides. Couple over here. Dad over there. A few people over there. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke currently looks like so. Let's have a quick look. While we still have a few moments to spare, but not before a big thank you to Julian Baars, who just now gifted 5 memberships. Julian, thank you so much for your generosity, mate. You didn't have to do that, but you went ahead and did it anyway. 5 new members, courtesy of you. I hope that everybody who received a membership from you will say thank you for it. If you're a new member, don't forget to use the custom emojis. There's 28 of them, and you can use them for a month if you got gifted a membership. If you are a regular member, as long as you stay a member, you can also use the 28 members emojis. So that also goes for Klaas, who just now became our latest Aurora Skylounge member. Thank you all so much for the support, guys. And don't forget to thank Julian if you are one of the recipients of his gifted memberships. Julian, thank you for the support. Klaas, thank you for the support. Welcome to the Aurora Skylounge new members. Now quickly over to the weather. So the wind is blowing from the southeast, 6 knots. It's Gavoke, that means that the lower 5,000 feet surrounding the airport are devoid of any visual impediments like clouds or precipitation. 13 degrees C is the temperature. Probably another update with, well, nothing substantially different. Looking on flight radar, we can see that the first Queen is already over the Gulf of Yorkshire and will be landing here in 20 minutes. Arriving from Miami, Atlas Air, all white, and another Atlas Air is approaching and is expected shortly past noon. We can see that Jesus is flying from Manchester to Lisbon. So Jesus is forsaking us for another day. More is underway, but there's all traffic that is expected later in the afternoon or even tonight. The Emirates A380 is expected shortly before 12:30. Everything coming in 4 p.m. or later. Cargo locks 6 p.m. Singapore Airlines coming in 5 p.m. So those are all out of the scope of today's show. Let's quickly go back to the camera controls. Have a look. The next airplane is on the glide slope. Should be coming in. Where is it? It's doing a ninja. No, wait. They're landing on the center runway now. What? Have they? No, don't tell me that they did go ahead with the closure. What? Have they updated it? Does that mean now we are going to see everything going to the wrong runway for 2 hours? It was supposed to be until the 22nd, until not including the 23rd, but they are actually, yeah, right. Well, interesting. Yeah, so they are still going to keep the Polderbaan closed here. Mother fudgers. That's for 2 hours. It really said until the 23rd, not until and including the 23rd. Temporary measures, it says here in Dutch, until, not until and including the 23rd. But apparently they went ahead. It was a little bit of a gamble. That means that for now we are going to see traffic to the wrong runway. What the fudge? In the meantime, a big thank you to Stranger, who is celebrating 19 months of membership. Thank you for the support, mate. Oh man, this is terrible. Right, so that means that this runway is now closed for 2 hours. It was a bit of a gamble. In the meantime, Edelweiss, thank you so much for your super sticker. Shiba Dog clapping with his hand. Well, not much to be clapping for here. Yeah, except that the firefighters are passing by. Mother fudgers. Mother fudgers. It was a gamble, but they never published anything that they were going to expand the measures. Right. Yeah, well, you can tell me what you want in the chat. Something with solar panels, yeah, but the official publication said tot de 23e, until, and not including, tot en met. It was said until the 23rd, so I was hoping they were going to let go of the measure from today onward, and apparently they haven't, which is odd. They haven't published anything about it. It does mean that this is now what we are going to see for 2 hours from over here. Traffic to the wrong runway. Not sure if that is interesting enough for you guys to continue watching. Probably isn't.
Hello and good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Friend from Germany.
Good morning.
Every Sunday we are looking for your channel.
Oh, that is so nice to hear. Thank you.
The first time live.
First time live, yeah. Well, unfortunately, they are still keeping this runway closed between 10 and 12. Because there are solar panels to the north, and when the sun is shining, apparently the pilots get blinded by it. Originally, it was said that it was until yesterday, And they didn't say anything. They didn't say anything about renewing the measure. Apparently, they're still. Sorry?
They will change the runway use in between the time?
Well, for the next 2 hours, this runway is going to stay closed, and the center runway over there is the only runway now open for inbound traffic.
747 in the middle.
If they're landing between 10 and 12, then the answer is yes. Yeah. So there's one underway that is going to land over here because it is arriving from the west. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The other one is expected shortly past noon, so it should land on this runway again because it should be open again by then.
Oh, that's fine.
But the next one that is going to arrive first will land on the center runway. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Well. Another massive big thank you to Edelweiss for another super chat there just now. You really didn't have to do that, mate. Thank you so much for your generosity. No accompanying text with it. I'm very sorry to see that they have extended the measure with the solar panels and the closure of the Polderbaan. They didn't announce it or anything. So yeah. This is KLM flight 668 arriving from Austin, Texas. It's a 787-10 Dreamliner. 8 hours and 43 minutes on the way. The airplane a year old, first flight May 2023. Yeah, well, you guys tell me what you want me to do, because it's very dull over here right now. Polderbaan is actually not being used for another 2 hours. I was hoping it was actually until yesterday, like they initially said it was going to be. Firefighters in the meantime still doing their patrol round as normal. Check it out. Right. Let's see, there is still a 747 coming in pretty soon. Let's see, where is that 747? Oh, it's still pretty far away, still over the Gulf of Yorkshire. Play in front of it. So what is its ETA? Atlas Air. Expected in 11 minutes. Well, at least I'm going to stick around until the all-white 747 has landed. This is American Airlines flight 204 arriving from Philadelphia. 7878 Dreamliner. 6 hours and 41 minutes on the way. 4-year-old airplane, first flight October 2020. And you're translating it wrong, Wietse. You're translating it wrong. It says tot and not tot en met. So it is until and not until and including. Big difference. Up to and including the 22nd. But apparently, in practice, they are also keeping it closed today. Next airplane coming in, Delta Airlines. Flight 74 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, A330-300 with behind it a 787-10 Dreamliner KLM flight 644, which is arriving from New York JFK. Right, those of you joining us just now, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. I'm not going to be streaming for much longer because they have closed the Polderbaan for the next 2 hours between 10 and 12. They did continue with the measure, even though in the original publications it said at least until the 22nd. They did not ever say anything about continuing it on the 23rd or later. So I was hoping that they were going to keep the Polderbaan open, but I was wrong. Means that for the time being, the primary runway for arrivals today is going to be the center runway, and that means that we can only see arrivals to the center runway from a distance. Not exactly what I was hoping to give you. There is a 747 coming in less than 10 minutes from now. It is obviously going to land on the center runway. I think I'm going to make that the last airplane of the day. And everybody is asking about relocating. You guys don't know how long it takes for me to relocate. I have to break down the setup, have to go back to the car, have to move, have to set things up again. By the time I'm done doing that, Polderbaan is going to reopen almost. So that's not an option. Streaming tomorrow is also not an option because I also have a live next to streaming and I have appointments tomorrow. So after today, the next date, if weather will allow me to do so, the stream is next Thursday. Absolutely right, Marit. They never said anything about prolonging it, so I was hoping they were going to stop doing it. I mean, I'm not disappointed that they are continuing with it, but what they should have done is also let everybody know that they were going to prolong it. At least that's my humble opinion. Chinese triple coming in, arriving from Shanghai in China. China Cargo Airlines flight 209, 11 hours and 21 minutes on the way. 777 freighter, 2 years old. It's the Bravo 221 Whiskey. First flight of this airplane was in April 2022. So let's see. Atlas is on the downwind leg. Should be approaching pretty soon. Ooh, overhead traffic outbound. Yay! Something we can see a little bit up close. KLM 737 going to the north. Lovely blue sky to the west, as you guys can see. The most cloudy part is to the east. Landing inward, the showers are still there. With the wind blowing from south to north, they're moving from right to left. Over here in the west, it seems that we are going to stay dry. EasyJet is coming in. EasyJet arriving from London Luton, so if you are Luton intolerant, look away, otherwise you will get the cramps. KLM is coming in after that. Embraer 190 arriving from Prague. KLM A330 coming in from Toronto after that. Looks a bit pixelated because I am zoomed in quite far with digital zoom. Oh? Oh? What's this? What's this? Oh, that's the Chinese triple. Let's see. That's Air China Cargo, flight 1039, arriving from Shanghai in China. Approaching Schiphol and then turning downwind to land on center later. Nice coincidence. Right, so I'm sticking around until the 747 from Atlas, the all-white, has landed. After that I'm going to call it quits because this is boring AF, both for you and for me. Unfortunately, Polderbaan still closed between 10 and 12 due to this reflection of the solar farm lying north of it. They're extending the measure without notifying the public beforehand. Means I won't be returning to the Polderbaan anytime soon after today, when it's used for arrivals and the sun is shining, until they have published until when they are going to prolong it or when they are going to stop with the measure. This is not going to happen to me a second time. Wolfgang says, go remove the solar farm in the rest time of today's live stream. Yeah. I drove past it not too long ago on their way to the IKEA. It is a big farm. Well, I think there's actually 2 of them. Really insane. This is KLM flight 749. And Jörg, I don't know why you're doing this. Not in today's stream, not when there's nothing to do, mate. 5 gifted memberships just now, courtesy of Jörg. JD, you didn't have to do that, mate. If you're gifting memberships, at least do it in a stream where there's more to see, mate. Oh, Jörg, thank you so much. You really didn't have to do that, mate. I hope that everybody who received a membership from you will get the chance to enjoy it during live streams where I can stream a bit longer than under an hour. Ah, come on, Wolfgang, no. Guys, come on. Wolfgang and Jörg, you guys, you really didn't have to do that, mates. 10 new members, courtesy of Jörg and Wolfgang, respectively. Guys, thank you so much. You really didn't have to do that. Hope that everybody who received the membership will get a chance to enjoy it. You have 28 custom emojis at your disposal for a month when you're a member and you got gifted a membership. Use them however you see fit. Once again, Jörg and Wolfgang, thank you so much for your generosity. You guys really didn't have to do that. Play is coming in from Iceland, Reykjavik, flight 460. Ah man, Leroy now also, come on. Oh, Leroy and Duns. Oh, guys. This is crazy. This is really crazy. You guys. Leroy, 5 memberships courtesy of you. Duns, 5 memberships courtesy of you. That is really above and beyond. Leroy and Duns, thank you too. You guys as well. 5 gifted memberships by each of you. I hope that everybody who receives a membership will thank the gifter. And don't forget to use those custom emojis that you have access to for a month. Play, flight 460, arriving from Reykjavik in Iceland. I'm going to turn back because the next airplane behind it is Atlas Air. Atlas Air. I'm also going to make that. Yeah, they definitely gave me something to do. Absolutely, Maria. What? Yeah. Come on, guys. You guys are making me... No! I'm going to film. I'm going to keep filming first. Stop with the gifted memberships and the celebrations. It's impossible for me to stop filming now. First of all, first things first, this is Atlas Air. Business first, pleasure later. This is Atlas Air flight 5421. It is 7478 arriving from Miami, Florida. 8 hours and 43 minutes on the way. The airplane is 10 years old. First flight July 2014. It's going to the wrong runway. It is the November 865 Golf Tango. Oh man. All right. So what? Do you guys want me to continue then? It's raining gifted memberships. I feel really bad to stop the stream right now. You guys want me to continue? I'll happily do it if you guys aren't bored. Now I'm going to scroll back in my phone first, because there I can see all the highlighted messages. I'm going to go through them in chronological order. Need to go up first. And I think the first highlighted message that I haven't highlighted yet is Leroy, who is celebrating 14 months of membership. And also Patrick Lehmeyer, who has been a member now for 17 months. Also, thank you both for the continued support. And Patrick says, whoop, have a nice day and greetings to Desi. Desi, greetings from Patrick and from me. Patrick and Leroy, thank you both so much for your ongoing support as a member. I hope you guys both still like it in the lounge. Thank you so much for the ongoing support. And then another chain of gifted memberships. What the hell? Let me see. First of all, hey, goeiedag. Ja, toch dicht hè? Toch dicht, ja. Ja, hij gaat om 12 uur weer open. Ja, dus nu nog eventjes alles naar center. Jammer. Tot de volgende keer. It's my friend who's always walking his dog, who is from Portugal originally. He was also here this morning. He didn't bring his camera in first instance. He thought that the runway was closed. I thought, well, it was open at the time. Now, the chain of gifted memberships. First of all, Arjan, thank you so much for your 5 gifted memberships. And now everything kept going back and forth. Oh, people are adding to the chat and now my chat window keeps moving. Let's see where... Oh, it's all back down. This is so annoying. If anybody knows how to automate this, please reach out to me. Now I'm having to manually scroll up through the chat again to find the next batch of gifted memberships, which was... Let's see... Want to give credit where credit is due. Come on. Come on. Thank you for the dislike.
Retard.
Nice. Where were they? Come on. This is annoying. So many gifted memberships. So many highlighted messages. Where was I? Really have to be careful to scroll up. Those messages are highlighted on my phone. They're not highlighted on my in the app. The program I'm using to stream with, which is Ecamm Live. Here we go. Sarah was the next to gift 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Sarah. And next after that, a super sticker from Peter K. Thank you so much. Oh, now it goes. Where did it go? This is terrible. Stop chatting. Peter K, thank you so much for your super sticker. And then Karsten gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Karsten, so much. Where did it go? There. And then Captain Jerry went ahead and gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Captain Jerry. Jerome, thank you so much. And it kept on going. It kept on going. Rick became a member. Thank you for your return to the Aurora Skylounge, Rick. Thank you for the support. Also, Han, thank you so much. You also gifted 5 memberships. Welcome to the Aurora Skylounge members. If you are a recipient of a gifted membership, don't forget to thank the person who gifted you the membership. It's the least you can do. If you're enjoying the membership, don't forget to... Well, don't forget, consider renewing it. Thomas went ahead and gifted no less than 10 memberships, mate. Thank you so much. That is extremely generous, above and beyond. Thank you so much, Thomas. That is amazing. Now, I think I am back to the end. If I forgot somebody, please let me know, because I don't want to forget anybody. I'm also scrolling back now, standing behind my phone again. Don't think I forgot anybody. If I did, apologies, let me know. That would be terrible. Oh man, thank you all so much. You really didn't have to do that. I made a mistake. I was too optimistic in thinking that the Polderbaan was going to stay open again all throughout the morning, and I was wrong. This is an A319 arriving from Birmingham, EasyJet, flight time 58 minutes. The OELKC, 15 years old. Next up is going to be Turkish flight 1951. Turkish flight 1951 arriving from Istanbul, A330-300. Usually the flight time from Istanbul to Amsterdam is 3 hours precisely. It is now 3 hours and 13 minutes on the way, so that is within the ballpark of a nominal flight duration. The airplane is 14 years old. Its first flight was in September 2010. I absolutely agree, Wolfgang. Absolutely amazing support. This is overwhelming. Screw it, we're going to stay here. It's only 1.5 hours left. We'll see how many viewers are going to stay and who is going to go. We have the Polderbaan almost exclusively to ourselves. There's somebody sitting on the bench north of me, just before the pipes are crossing over the cycling path. If you joined us only later, welcome to the show. I was hoping for a reopening, or how to best describe it. I was hoping that today was going to be the first day that the Polderbaan was going to stay open in the morning hours again, when in use for arrivals during sunny conditions. They never said anything about prolonging it, but I guess they went ahead and prolonged the measure silently. Hey, Jerome says his trip will be on YouTube. Will it be on your own? Oh, at Captain Jerry Amtrak. at Captain Jerry Amtrak. Let me see if I can find that channel page later, and I will happily subscribe and stay updated about your travel journeys. Let's see, that's the 25th you said you were going to leave, right? So that is Tuesday, right? This is an A320neo EasyJet arriving from Gatwick. Let's see, what else is in the pipeline? So there is another Queen expected arriving from Miami. Atlas Air should arrive shortly past noon. So if all is well, it should land on this runway coming in from the west. Don says that the A340 is going to depart soon from Amsterdam. If you guys could give me a heads up when it is lined up on the Polderbaan, I should be able to see it from over here. Now, lest I forget, let's also welcome Yvonne. Yvonne van Leeuwen just became our latest Aurora Sky Lounge member. Thank you so much for choosing the Aurora Sky Lounge as your place to hang out in, Yvonne. I hope you're going to like it over there. If you need to know where things are, just ask any of the members that are already in the lounge. They'll happily show you around. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Yvonne, and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. And also Bisnovad back in the chat. Good to see you again, mate. And thank you so much for your ongoing support. 14 months as a member already. It is good to see me streaming again. It's unfortunate I mischose the runway to go to. It is otherwise lovely weather here. Showers more land inward, but the coastal region on to the west seems to dodge the bullets of the showers. Maybe a few droplets overnight. It did look like some more rain had with desert sand had fallen on my car. But Bisnovad, thank you so much for your ongoing support. It's nice to see you in the chat again as well. I've got the feeling that it's been a long time since we last saw you. Sheila has to go. Well done to you for keeping streaming under the circumstances. Well, thank you so much for your kind words, Sheila. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Well, I actually wanted to stop the stream, but you guys went ahead with a never before seen stream of gifted memberships. I feel really bad to pull the plug now. I'm going to stick around regardless of how many viewers we still have left. If all is well, around 12 we should start seeing traffic coming into Polderbaan again. I'm also wondering if it's actually going to be until 12 precisely, because as the days lengthen and the sun gets up earlier, and mind you, next weekend we are going to daylight savings time. That's summertime, right? Or are we in daylight savings time now? Either way, time is going to change again during the next weekend, and as the days lengthen, the sun gets up earlier and further to the northeast. So I'm thinking the reflections should become a problem ever more early in the day. BA flying in from London Heathrow. ITA Airways is going to be next. Let's have a look at it. And before actually zooming in, let me also go back to the laptop. And thank John for his continued support. 14 months as a member. John, thank you so much for your support as well, mate. Hope you still like it in the lounge. Let me know if we need renewals, if we need to resupply stuff, or if something is no longer to your liking. John, thank you so much for your ongoing support, mate. Here's to many more months to come. This is ITA Airways flight 108 arriving from Rome. It's an A320, flight time 1 hour and 57 minutes. Registration EIDTA. The airplane is 16 years old, first flight December 2008. In the meantime, a very good morning to all who have joined. Frank says until 18 right is active, maybe you can now mow the lawn. I forgot my lawnmower, mate. I would have happily done that if I've had the thing with me. I totally forgot. Now, in the meantime, Jerry, thank you for the super chat. Jerome's channel, if you want to follow his train journey, upcoming train journey through the United States, is at Captain Amtrak USA. He'll be departing on on Tuesday, until April 17th, if I recall correctly. Going through the entire continuous, what is it? How do you call it? The contiguous states, or either way, the mainland of the United States. He's going to travel through it by train, and he's going to vlog his adventures. So, looking forward to seeing that. Also, a big thank you to Diana, who is celebrating 3 months of membership, halfway to yellow. Thanks to my man, she writes. Diana, thank you so much for your ongoing support. I hope you still like it in the lounge. If something is no longer to your liking, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to fix it then. Delta Airlines arriving from Tampa in the background, and Qatar A350 arriving from Doha is going to be next after that. Here it is, Delta Airlines flight 236, A330-300 arriving from Tampa, Florida. 8 hours and 22 minutes. It left from Miami. It's the November 801 November Whiskey, 22 years old, first flight January 2003. In the meantime, a very good morning to all who have joined. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. I'm standing along the Polderbaan, hoping it was going to stay open again between 10 and 11 when the sun was out for arrivals, because the publications said it was not going to... well, they never posted anything about renewing it. Unfortunately, they did continue with the measure. Means that for now, until 12, the primary runway for arrivals has become the center runway. Now, luckily, we can still see the airplanes from over here. Could also give it a go to raise the ambient volume a little bit. Let's see how that works out. Increased it a full notch. Hey! Oh no, that was just flight radar. Here I was thinking that the A350 was breaking off its landing, but it isn't. Don says that the A340 is about to line up. Thanks for the info. Is it also going to be the next airplane to take off from runway 24? Looking at flight radar to this airplane, it is doing weird stuff. Luckily, in actuality, the airplane is just flying in a straight line towards the runway. This is Qatar Airways flight 275 arriving from Doha. A350-900, 6 hours and 22 minutes on the way. It's the A7ALR Alpha Lima Romeo, 7 years old, first flight September 2017. And the A340 to Suriname, next to take off from runway 24. I think that will coincide nicely with the way we are already moving the camera in the direction of runway 24. Right, it's rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. We'll leave the A350 for what it is. I trust it is going to find the runway without any problems. A340 600 going to Suriname, to Paramaribo. It's going to reappear above the trees, and I think more to the right than you think. Got it. There she is. It levitates. What? What an amazing discovery. The A340-600, operated by USC on behalf of Suriname Airways, going to Paramaribo in Suriname. Probably 8 to 9 hours on the way, 8.5 to 9 hours. Other airplanes would have cleared the trees already by now, would have flown a bit higher probably. Not the A340, it's taking its sweet time. It's taking its sweet, sweet time. Although, with still a lot of trees to get through, I'm not sure that we are going to see it again. Probably not. So let's focus on what we can see a bit better. Donald and Daisy are here in the stream. It's nice to see that as the days lengthen, the duckies are also returning. And look at the shade of blue. Oh, Donald's forehead when he was looking to the right, to his right. It was a lovely shade. Yeah, there it is. A lovely shade of blue in the right, with the right angle. Absolutely gorgeous. Also, aquatic birds in the water over there. That's Donald and Daisy too. And I think the reeds are a little in the way. Oh no, wait, they're just further upstream. Camera's struggling a little bit with the focus, but there you go. So there's actually quite a few birds in the water over here. Lovely to see. Second ETA of the day coming in from Rome or Milan? Milan. Ja, toch is also wondering about the whistle or whatever it is. I still don't know for sure what it is. I don't know if it is from Schiphol or if it is emanating from the acres of farmland next to the Schiphol area. It's the I think you are referring to. I've heard it quite regularly, and you could probably pick it up today in the stream as well. Wish I know what it was. If I ever learn about what it is and where it's coming from, I will tell you. This is EasyJet. EasyJet arriving from London Stansted. KLM A321neo arriving from London Heathrow behind it, and after that a 787-10 Dreamliner KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City. So I've raised the ambient audio a full notch, with the hope of you being able to pick up some of the sounds that you hear from the airplanes flying to the center runway. How's that working out? Is it too loud? Is it too soft? Do I have headroom to amp it up even more? Is it necessary? Lars asks if it is the station in front of me. You mean the unit over there? I really don't know. Could be, Lars. Although if it were coming from there, I'm wondering what is it for? What system or where does it belong to? Right, KLM flight 1002 arriving from London Heathrow. It is one of the A321 Neos from KLM. Left London 46 minutes ago. Fax D. And KLM flight 758 next, arrival from Panama City, a 787-10 Dreamliner. Here it is. Thomas has to dash out for a while. Thanks for joining, Thomas. Hope to see you again later in the week. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday, mate. This is KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City. 9 hours and 33 minutes on the way. A 787-10 Dreamliner, the PHBKI. The airplane 4 years old, first flight August 2020. Right, I'm going to focus on filming the airplane the best I can, because if I also glance at my phone and look at your messages in the chat, I lose the airplane. Focus on the airplane and I can keep it centered relatively stably. If you look at the wings, you can beautifully see how the flex of the Dreamliner is formed. You can also see it on other airplanes though, mind you. If you look at a 777 passing by from this angle, you will also see that the wing is curved upward, but not to the extent of the Dreamliner. In that respect, it is unique among all the passenger airplanes flying today. But if you look at, for instance, a 777 from this angle, I'm pretty sure at some point we are going to get another opportunity to do so. You can also see that there's flex in the wings. It's with every airplane that you can see it. It's just with the way that the Dreamliner is constructed, you can see it more clearly. Hey Laleinders, good morning, welcome back. Marissa, goedemorgen. Yeah, so for those of you joining us only later, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. I'm here at the Polderbaan, I was hoping that the Polderbaan was going to stay open again during the morning hours. Long story short, it doesn't. it's still closed between 10 and 12, even though it didn't say so anywhere specifically. Means that we are filming airplanes landing on the center runway for the time being. Now, the upshot is we have good visibility. My camera can zoom decently, even though this is digital zoom. Top end of optical zoom is over here. It's still nice and we can still see the airplanes quite well. I hope that the audio, I've amped it up one notch. How's that working out? Do we need more amplification? Can still set it. The volume rocker on my handlebar, on my camera handlebar, is only halfway. I can go way more up, but it's a very sensitive knob, and if you go too high and the sound is too loud, you will get clipping. Since we're now picking up sounds that are really far away, Let's see, this is KLM flight 1404 arriving from Paris, Charles de Gaulle, 737-800. Air Oink Oink is going to arrive behind it, flight 1251, A321neo. Wolfgang says you can go a bit higher. I trust you, your Bose system and your ears. I'm going to go up another full notch. There we go. How's that? Better, Danny says. Huh? Ah, okay. The flight's from the northwest going to runway 27. Yeah. In the meantime, there's still action around the runway, interestingly. It's not that like there's completely nothing going on here. Wolfgang says a bit too much. Take half a notch. I will do so. Right, this is half a notch back. And here we have Air Oink Oink flight 1251 arriving from Istanbul in Turkey. Flight time 3 hours 15 minutes. That is almost exactly the same as the Turkish flight 1951 was taking to get here. So I'm assuming it's just a bit of headwind that they are experiencing today. Nominal flight time, it's the TC RBC, that's Romeo Bravo Charlie. The airplane is 4 years old, first flight was in March 2020. Wolfgang says that the audio is now good. Excellent, I will leave it at this. I have to remember once Polderbaan reopens to set it back to the normal setting. I keep underestimating how loud the volume sounds when I make a small increment on my camera to raise the volume of the Sennheiser, the gain of the Sennheiser volume. Oh. Yesterday too, in at the beginning, just half a notch more because I thought I was standing a bit further away from everything and it was already too much. This is KLM flight 1268 arriving from Copenhagen, and after that we are going to see Air Canada flight 808 arriving from Toronto, and that is a 777-200 long range. Beautiful cirrus clouds over there. That is your stereotypical, if you have to get a picture of cirrus clouds, that would be them. Here we go, Air Canada flight 808, and this is a 777-200 long range. 6 hours and 15 minutes underway, coming in from Toronto. 17-year-old airplane, the first flight was in February 2008. It's almost 11. That means we are halfway through the period where Polderbaan is going to stay closed. And you're right, Marissa. But Bezoek Bus, the initial publication said tot 23rd and not tot en met, so not up to and including. So I was cautiously hoping, literally interpreting what it said, namely that yesterday was going to be the last day, and even if it was going to be sunny, because it says tot and not tot en met, up to and not up to and including the 23rd. I was hoping today was going to be the first day that during the morning hours Polderbaan was going to stay open. But I'm still curious, because as long as those solar panels haven't been replaced or taken down, those reflections are still going to be an issue. It's just that with the lengthening of the day and the sun getting up earlier ever more and more, the problem shifts to the beginning of the day. It's getting a problem more early in the day. At some point, it's probably a problem only in the hours before I even go live. So I'm wondering how they're going to go ahead in the upcoming weeks with addressing the issue, because we all know they're not going to replace those panels anytime soon. This is KLM flight 636 arriving from Las Vegas. It's a 7879 Dreamliner. 9 hours and 28 minutes on the way. It's the PHBHI. 8 years old, first flight September 2016. Huh? Oh, right. Indeed, the deeper smile. But the crown indeed seems to be missing. It doesn't say Asia anywhere, does it? Don't see it. Sort of a hybrid livery. It is a sort of a hybrid livery. Right, so looking at the scale of chimney smoke, this is what it looks like. There's definitely a bit of wind here today. Let's have a quick look at the map. First of all, we can see that Atlas Air is approaching southwest England, and its ETA is 12:20. It's arriving from the west. That's a Polderbaan arrival, folks, and if all is well, around the same time, Emirates is also coming in. Hey, that means we might get a combo shot on the glide slope of these two. They're both expected for the Polderbaan, which is expected to open up again pretty soon. The other airplanes that are arriving, these are all out of the scope. KLM Cargo is returning 4 p.m. Cargo logs over Ethiopia, 6 p.m. Korean Air Cargo over Kazakhstan, 6 p.m. It's ETA. So I'm not expecting any more 747s or Quad Squad members after that, but have a look at the METAR. The wind has changed. It has opened up and is now blowing from the south. Headwind for the airplanes landing here. 10 knots of wind, 16 degrees temperature, 10 kilometers visibility. We have few clouds at 4,200 feet, so it's no longer Cavoquet. No ceiling, beautiful weather otherwise. I'm going to paste it in the ticker and then back to the camera controls to see the remaining arrivals until the reopening of Polderbaan in an hour from now. Here we go. Now back to the camera controls. Oh, and back to the laptop, because in the meantime I saw that Tom was celebrating. Where is the message? Here is the message. Tom Schillemans, a month shy of going green and being a member for a full year. 11 months now his membership is lasting already. Mate, thank you so much for your continued support. I hope that you still like it in the lounge. If anything is getting on short, if we're running out of supplies of anything, do let me know. Tom, thank you so much for your continued support. And in a month, another green member. Now, it's also not going to be long before we're going to get our first blue members. Mind you, I'm watching every day in the stats to see if Jerome, who is going to be the first member to turn blue if I'm not mistaken, has turned blue already. If all is well, Rick Meester should turn blue on the 31st as second member, reaching the 2-year mark. Quite a few actually. This is Britty Hopper coming in from Norwich. It's an Umbrella 190 flying on behalf of KLM, flight 1056. I don't think that the east of the country is in the out of the woods yet when it comes to precipitation. It looks a bit dark further up ahead. Now it's all further in the west, luckily. Here in the west we should stay good. Now, I think you were right, Wolfgang. Totally forgot the gifted membership of Karsten. Thank you so much, Karsten, and thank you, Wolfgang, for reminding me. Apologies to Karsten as well. I missed it, mate. Thank you so much for your generosity and for your kindness. A gifted membership. Welcome to the Aurora Skylines new member. Forgot to see. Yeah, no, the chat is already back to where we were. Sorry, I don't know who the recipient was, but thank you so much, Karsten, for your generosity. Welcome to the Aurora Skylines new member. And thank you, Wolfgang, for reminding me. I missed it. That's the thing. I need to zoom in quite a bit here to film all the arrivals that take place a bit further away from us. That means I'm really focused on my camera screen when following airplanes. I am, however, seeing something in my chat window now, so I'm zooming out a little bit. Going back to the computer again. It keeps on going. Alex Bomb, thank you so much. Another 5 gifted memberships just now, courtesy of Alex. Alex, dankeschön. I hope that everybody who receives a gifted membership from you will say dankeschön or thank you. Welcome to the Aurora Skylines new members. Don't forget to use your custom emojis. There's 28 of them. You can use them for a month. Spamming is not allowed, but you are allowed to use custom emojis as much as you want. Use them, abuse them. They're there for a reason, to be enjoyed. So please do so. Thank you so much, Alex, and welcome to the Skylines new members. This is Delta Airlines Flight 90 arriving from Orlando in Florida. It is 8 hours and 4 minutes underway. It's the November 8 to 9 November whiskey. The airplane is 8 years old. First flight June 2016. And it was Chris Coot that you might have heard on the mic just now. He's swimming right before us. Doing morning cardio and saying hi to the viewers. Now, speaking of deltas, haven't seen Bill Peterson in a while. Then again, that can also be said of Michael, who I think was only briefly there yesterday. Good morning, Dave A010, and good morning, John Dutch Canadian, and all others who have joined. If you joined us only just now and are wondering what's going on here, I was hoping that Polderbaan was going to stay open again from today onward during sunny conditions when used for arrivals from the north between 10 and 12, but I was wrong. Well, parallel arrival of Donald and Daisy there. So it means that we are standing next to the Polderbaan while all the majority of the incoming traffic is going to the center runway. Now, it's only going to last for another 15 minutes. We already have been standing here for the better part of it, the whole period. The upshot is that if we are going to stick around, we should see both a 747 from Atlas Air and the Emirates A380 landing here on Polderbaan, both expected around 12:20. Yazir, good morning. Eddie, good morning. Han asks, after 3 times receiving a gifted membership, are you not eligible for a 4th? Just asking for a friend. Well, I think that you are eligible regardless, as long as you have the right setting applied. I know that some frequent visitors, such as Michael, but also Lance, they are not active members themselves, but they have been gifted memberships quite regularly, more than 3 times. So I think it just has to do with being a frequent viewer. That's probably the predominant reason. Even if you're not active in the chat, even if you're not watching at the time when you receive a gifted membership, I think it's mostly a product of watching regularly. Frank says some lounge music would be appropriate now. I do have some lounge music, but haven't programmed it into the program yet. Karsten says, I love the ambient sound. Raise the volume a little bit. Mind you, still, even if I shut up, still hard to hear anything of the airplanes that are landing to the central runway, even if you're standing here. Now granted, I am going deaf. It's a soft rumble in the distance. Comparable with what you hear when an airplane is passing overhead on cruising altitude. Morning, Peter. Peter is informing us that in South Africa they're having a long weekend. Is there a celebration going on Monday? Congratulations, another day weekend, just midway through your weekend. That's nice. Now this is KLM flight 775 and it is arriving from Port of Spain. A330 300, 8 hours and 39 minutes on the way. And this is the Fakka, as in how's your motherfucker? The airplane is 13 years old, first flight February 2012. I'm wondering, looking to the south, now directly to the south, it's looking like this. Looking to the southeast, it does look a bit darker to the horizon, doesn't it? Lovely lighting, I have to say. It does look like there is a bit more of activity going on meteorologically. Wouldn't it be something if we're going to get hit by a rain shower after having to wait here for the reopening of the Polderbaan? Can see traffic to runway 27 from over here. Good morning, Andy G, and all others who have joined in the meantime. Runway 27 is open as secondary runway for arrivals. This should be an E2 Embraer 195 arrival from Billund, KLM flight 1292. We have good visibility due to the cloudiness. Means that we ought to be able to see the next airplane as well. If we just follow along the glide slope. There we go. Telescope mode activated. This is the full 400 times digital zoom in addition to the optical zoom. This is a more moderate level of digital zoom. KLM flight 1164 and Bro 175. Now in the meantime, Sarah, this one's for you. JetBlue arriving from New York, JFK. A321neo, 7:07 the journey, 7 hours and 7 minutes. It's the November 4076 Juliet. The airplane is a year old, first flight September 2023. And there she is landing. Landing on the center runway. Lovely. And that's the follow your intuition, Zulurk says. Okay. Interesting. All those play on words with mint. How many have we seen here? Yesterday I think we saw Minty McMintface. Heidi Luke, goedemorgen. And good morning to all the others. Now, let's see. Also traffic again to the center runway. This is KLM flight 1068 arriving from Southampton. It's number 175. Nice cloudy backdrop against which the airplane is moving forwards. Gives you a nice perception of the speed and also the size of the clouds that are in the background. Regular KLM, no Britty Hopper, no German Airways, no nothing. Just a plain old KLM with a crown. It's arriving from Southampton. Flight time 52 minutes. It's the PHEXI. The airplane is 8 years old. First flight July 2016. So in 45 minutes from now, if all is well, Polderbaan should reopen and we are in for a treat. 20 minutes after the reopening, we are expecting both an Atlas Air 747 arriving from Miami and also the Emirates A380 is expected around the same time. If all is well, Polderbaan should be the only runway for arrivals. And from 11:40 until 12, the center runway is going to be the only runway for arrivals if all is well. The two buildings on your right, those belong to what used to be a sugar refinery factory, where sugar beets would be refined into powdered sugar. Those cranes, I think, are in the port area of Amsterdam. The windmills are too. This is a power plant waste management company that is also in the port area west of the city of Amsterdam. There's a canal that is connecting from the North Sea, or better known as the Gulf of Yorkshire these days, here on the channel at least, to the city of Amsterdam, towards the IJ, the water that is behind Central Station. Also leads to the inner lake of Markermeer, a name you might have heard before, because airplanes often fly over it when approaching from the east and landing on the Polderbaan or to the center runway. Wolfgang says, what the heck is that crane? Looks like a monster. It certainly does, doesn't it? Bill J also back, tuning in from Seattle. Welcome back, guys. If you guys joined us only just now and are wondering why is nothing moving here, yeah, I was hoping that Polderbaan was going to stay open again between 10 and 12, and I was wrong. That's the long story short. If all is well, we should start seeing airplanes coming into the Polderbaan again around 12. We have an Atlas Air 747 and we have the Emirates A380 expected 20 minutes after the reopening of the runway, so it should be good. Yeah, it's a massive crane. and I don't know what it's for. Probably to handle loose cargo, or I don't know, is it for containers? Doesn't look like it is a crane for containers. And Jurk says we are heading for 400 likes. Not bad for a close runway, I have to agree. Thank you all so much for sticking around with me. I really didn't think it was going to be interesting enough for you guys, but I guess I was wrong. I stand corrected. Because it's in my nature, a bit of a perfectionist, and if things don't go the way I have planned it, my initial reaction is getting frustrated. My second reaction is you guys are probably going to not like it as well. Shit happens, absolutely, Bill. An offshore wind farm building crane, motherfuckers. No. They mustn't build more wind farms north of runways. That's a bad idea. No, I'm not sure. Is it for bulk or whatever? What is it? It's not a crane that is used for containers. They usually use different cranes for that. Same for these cranes. These are for loose items that you can attach to a single cable. Floating crane for North Sea oil platforms, Jerry says. Gary says large construction cranes. I am no crane expert by any stretch of the imagination, so I leave it to you guys to speculate about what the purpose is of these cranes. I have absolutely no idea. I do know that this is German Airways Embraer 190 flying on behalf of KLM, and it is flight 954. It's carrying out Newcastle to Amsterdam. 58 minutes on the way from Newcastle. The 16-year-old airplane hailing from the year 2009. A heavy lift floating crane, Dunn says. The construction you see next to it is most likely an oil platform. Right. So there you go. Apparently those are also in the port of Amsterdam. I never really thought that they would, but apparently they do. I thought that oil related stuff would be more in the port of Rotterdam, or maybe A350 next departing. It's rolling. Check. Runway 24, I'm assuming. I was about to look at the weather radar to see if we are going to see any precipitation, because it does look a little bit like over there you might have a bit of rain. Right, A350 rolling, Dunn says. Confirmed. Oh, confirmed runway 24. Is it on the runway yet? Is it taking off or not? Marissa says that it apparently the airplane that we saw without the crown is registered. Ah, yeah, there it is. Registered to KLM Asia. That makes sense. Hence, no crown. But they've painted over the word Asia. Singapore Airlines flight 323 to Singapore. I am assuming it is going to make a left-hand turn and not come this way. If it's going to make a right-hand turn, I'll be able to continue following it. It's going to pass overhead, but I'm waiting for the right wing to dip and the right wing to go up and the left wing to dip. Because that's what I think is most likely. Yeah, there you go. Left hand turn in progress. It's moving away from us. It's not coming this way, unfortunately. Beautiful machine though. Particularly when filmed against the backdrop of the clouds. Hey there, Nusa Goals. Good to see you again. Welcome to the show, all others. who have joined. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. I'm standing here along the Polderbaan. Still closed until 12. Long story short, I guessed wrong as to the runway use. That's the downside of streaming early in the day. You always have to go out before Bezoek Bus is updated. It almost always is giving expected runway use until 9:20, and I already have to decide where I want to go to and leave before then. So it's always an educated guess, since the communication about the closure of the Polderbaan with regards to the reflection of the solar farm said up to the 23rd and not up to and including. I was cautiously optimistic. And was wrong. Then again, if all is well, we are going to see the reopening of Polderbaan pretty soon. It's now only 25 minutes away, maybe even a bit less, particularly since it is now already starting to become cloudy again. Big picture overview, this is what it looks like. This is looking to the south. Still blue in the sky looking to the west, but it is further away. It's absolutely getting more cloudy here. This is looking to the east. Things to the north also a bit more open still. Next arrival to the center runway is an E2 Embraer 195 KLM flight 924 arriving from Edinburgh. And I fully concur with Bill J, who says that the A350 has a beautiful set of wings. I really wish that they would make those curled winglets mandatory on all new airplanes. I think it looks so graciously. Now, let's have a quick look. What I'm very curious about is the weather and whether or not we are going to stay dry here. This is the weather radar for the upcoming hour, and it says no rain in the vicinity. Schiphol is over here, so we should stay dry. That's not an issue. I see Quad Squad members coming in over the southwest of England. We have Atlas Air arriving from Miami, Florida already underway. Its ETA is 12:16 now and flying over East Germany with an ETA of 12:14, so it's still within 2 minutes of one another. Might get to see a combo glide slope shot there. The Emirates A380 is coming in. Now in terms of the wind, we had wind blowing from the south. Last time we checked the METAR, a refresh is telling us that the wind direction hasn't changed. The wind speed also not significantly. 16 degrees C, it's not getting any warmer with the clouds now out, and we still have few clouds at 4,200 feet. That's why it's not CAV-OK. We have few clouds at 4,200 feet. Baby bus is third to arrive to center, Marissa says, and I'm quickly going to paste the METAR I copied just now into the ticker and go back to the camera controls then. Baby bus A318 coming in for runway center. And good morning to Johnny and all others who have joined. Hope you're doing well. Happy Sunday to you all. It's a bit cloudy over here today. Now, you can see that Polderbaan is about to reopen because we are starting to see people again over here. Not many, just a few young lads and a couple of pedestrians over there, and also a few people over there in the background. That's the actual parking of the Spottersplatz. I'm always a bit further to the north on the cycling path when I'm standing here. Chris Kut and his mate are over there having a little wash. The sun has definitely gone. Next airplane to the center runway is Transavia. Have to remind me, you guys have to remind me if I don't do it on my own, that I need to lower the volume, because once airplanes start to land here and I don't lower the ambient mic, it's going to wreak havoc on your eardrums and speakers. It's going to clip all over the place. Transavia arriving from Palma de Mallorca, flight 5626, 737-800, 2 hours and 7 minutes on the way. 14-year-old airplane, the PHHSC. First flight of this airplane was in April 2010. Adrian says, if the ice cream truck is there, it's busy. The ice cream truck is not as regularly over there as the French fries truck is. Ice cream van owner has missed out on quite a few warm days where he could have made a lot of money because of a lot of people here, and he wasn't. Really a shame. Johnny asks, where's my mate Russell Crowe? Good question, good question. Looking around, he's not overlooking. He's not here. Nor have I seen him over here anywhere. I haven't heard him. I don't think he and his mates are in the fields over there. Some of the flower fields are already in bloom. As I was driving up this way, I'm not sure if you can see, or is the camera a tad too low? I think it's a tad too low. There's a field of, oh wait, there it is. Yeah, a field of yellow blooms over there. There was also a field of white blooms, but I think that the forest is in the way. Keukenhof is also reopened, makes it a bit more busy in my place of residence. Here we have the baby bus A318. It's coming in from Paris, flight 1500. The OG baby bus. Some people sometimes refer to the A319 as the baby bus, but this is the true baby bus. 41 minutes on the way. Vergakpi is its registration. It is 18 years old. First flight was in December 2006. And isn't it a little cutie? Absolutely lovely. Hey there, Celine. Happy Sunday to you too. Celine is tuning in from Wisconsin and wonders, no ducks or geese this morning. Well, geese we haven't seen here. But Donald and Daisy are definitely here, as are Chris and Curtis Coote. Here's Daisy. Donald is over there. Where was he? Here he is. He's nibbling and having some breakfast higher up, all high and mighty. Here's one of the coots. And his mate is a bit further over there. Gary Grebe is MIA. I haven't seen him yet, nor have I seen any of the other birds. So Russell Crowe, haven't seen him yet. Harry the Hypnotizing Heron, also still MIA. This is KLM flight 765 arriving from Bonaire. It's an A330-300. Karsten has to go. You have a wonderful rest of the Sunday as well, mate. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday too. Hope to see you again later in the week then. This is KLM flight 765 arriving from Bonaire, like I said before, 9 hours and 2 minutes on the way. Or is it? Because this airplane is fake. The registration PH AKE. Fake with a capital PH. So it might be a hallucination. We're probably also hallucinating that the airplane is 12 years old and its first flight was supposedly in January 2013. Whether or not it actually happened remains to be seen. Bob says, bedtime here, enjoy the day. Mate, thank you for joining. Sleep well. Hope to see you again later in the week then, buddy. And Johnny asks if I heard about what happened in Heathrow Airport a couple of days ago. I certainly have. It was on the national news as first news item to open the news with. Hard to miss. We also saw a few rare visitors that left for Heathrow again yesterday, in part. If you missed yesterday's stream, it's highly recommended that you have a look. We had a Delta Airlines 767-400 in the Breast Cancer Research Foundation Special Livery. Malaysia Airlines A350, which I also made a thumbnail of for that stream yesterday. BA 777-200 also landed at Schiphol. Now, it's not a rare sight generally speaking, but it is on Schiphol Airport because to Schiphol, BA usually flies narrow bodies exclusively. As you guys can hear, I'm also sounding a little bit stuffy. I'm going to blow my nose short briefly. Temperatures are a bit low still. I'm wearing my fingerless gloves. That also makes my nose go a little runny, and I don't want to sound stuffy when the A380 and the Queen are coming. Now, it's not going to be not much longer anymore before the secondary runway is going to close. It's now 11:35, and come 11:40 there's usually only one runway in use for arrivals. That's going to be the center runway, and from 12 o'clock that's going to become the Polderbaan. And we're back. Haditon, goedemorgen. Anja, goedemorgen. All others who have joined, who I might have missed, good morning to you too. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It's a cloudy day here at Schiphol Airport, but no rain yet. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke currently looks like so. The wind is blowing from the south, and I have to say the clouds are looking lovely again if you look to the distance. This is looking to the northwest. Quite a lovely backdrop. The clouds are illuminated beautifully. Once the Polderbaan reopens again, come 12, it will make for a beautiful backdrop against which the airplanes are going to land. Imagine airplanes in the background, glide slope shot, going to be terrific. Still 25 minutes of waiting that we have to do. In the meantime, we can film the arrivals to the center runway. Iceland Air coming in, flight 500. Johnny is a little busy and has to go again. Thanks for stopping by, Johnny, and hope to see you again later in the week. Goedemorgen, Keenan. En Stefan, goedemorgen. Good morning, Elwa. Good morning, Jeff. Runway 27 is also still open for arrivals, and if you know where you need to look, you can also see airplanes to runway 27. Over here we have an SAS A320neo, no, a regular A320 that is coming in from Oslo. Hi Anja. I must have missed it. Apologies for that, Anja. Now, looking around, and I was showing you beautifully lit clouds. Here's another example. 50 Shades of Grey. You can find them in the Netherlands. We have more than 50 even. Weather app says it's going to stay dry. No precipitation is expected, so it's just a lovely backdrop against which we can see the airplanes arrive beautifully. EasyJet arriving from Basel, and BA A319 arriving from London Heathrow behind it. So in less than an hour, if all is well, Atlas Air and the Emirates A380 will land here on the Polderbaan, which is still going to stay closed for another 20 or so minutes. I'm wondering, since it is now more or less overcast over here and there's no sunshine interfering with the solar farm and reflections, if they might open up Polderbaan a little bit sooner. Probably not, but we'll see. Frank says, what's the comparison between a jet engine and Boy's nose? They both run, absolutely. My nose sometimes runs faster than I can. Yeah. This is a good sign. K2 doing a runway inspection. That is usually an indication of a reopening pretty soon. Hey. Is that Russell? Is that Cheryl? Are those Russell and Cheryl Crow? Whoa. Whoa, easy, easy lads. Hey, is that a little church? I never saw that before. It's a little church. This is directly to the east. Huh? Okay. I have to look on Google Maps to see where that is. This, for those of you who have been to Amsterdam before, will recognize immediately as the Rembrandt Tower. That's near Amstel Station, right next to it. I think it used to be Philips HQ before they went to the building right next to it. Dear Contour says KLM Flight 706 is coming to 18 right now over Zeeland. That's good news, mate. That means that the runway is going to open up pretty soon. Hope is postponed, disappointment. Ari speaks from experience. Yeah, I think you might be right, Ari. Cynically as it sounds. Meanwhile, Donald and Daisy are taking a nap. That's always nice. If you've had a good meal, relax, and then take it easy. Celine asks about the temperature. It is in the meter. If you know how to read it, it's very informative. The thing in the ticker with all the numbers and the digits, the letters and the digits, is actually the weather report. It's updated twice an hour. Why not introduce you guys to it? So let me quickly refresh the ticker, and you will see that the meter is starting. It's the weather report of Schiphol Airport, updated twice an hour. EHAM is the airport abbreviation of Schiphol Airport. AMS is a second international abbreviation for Schiphol Airport. It then starts with the date and time. The 23rd is today, 9:55 Zulu is the time it was published. That's 10:55 Central European time. It starts with the wind, 10 knots from 180 degrees, and the wind direction is variable between 150 degrees and 210 degrees. Visibility is 10 kilometers or more, few clouds at 4,200 feet. It is 16 degrees Celsius, the dew point is 10 degrees Celsius, the air pressure is 1,003 hectopascals, and no significant changes are expected in the upcoming 2 hours. The report gets updated twice an hour, 25 minutes past the hour and 5 minutes to the hour. So it is very informative if you know how to read it, which I hope you guys will now be able to do from now on. EasyJet A320 Neorio arriving from Geneva, Embraer 175 arriving from Luxembourg behind it, and after that a MAX 8737 from Sun Express, I think. Yeah, Sun Express. The church only pops up on Sunday, inflatable church. Yeah, but honestly, I never saw it. Where was it? Right, it was a bit to the left of the Rembrandt Tower. What municipality lies there? There are houses over there, and the windscreen for the A5 highway, no, the A9, that's the A9 probably. My curiosity is triggered. Workspaces, okay, there you go. Right. Well, at least Jerry and Celine now also know how to read a bit of the meter. There's a lot of codes, so you need to know what everything means. It's just a glimpse, but it's usually an indication of the wind, the precipitation, visibility, and the temperature. All the relevant information for pilots that they need to know. Aya says it looks more like a chapel. Yeah, okay. It's a place of worship, or a place where you can get married. Or at least it looks like a place where you probably can get married. K2 is still on the runway, inspecting the hell out of Polderbaan before it's going to open up again pretty soon. And there was an airplane underway to the Polderbaan. KLM flight 706. Is Vueling also coming this way? Or is Vueling flight 8309 still going to the center runway? Sloten, Rob asks. You know what? Why don't we all have a look? I'm curious. My curiosity has been triggered. Let's have a look. Get out Google Maps and have a look. So we are we are over here. We're standing a bit further back. Normally I'm standing in line with the first exit so that we can get butt shots. We're now, I think, a bit closer by. So directly to the east you would have maybe this. Just a few houses right before the A9 highway. Is there a chapel over there? Could be. It doesn't say so. Oh wait, no, cemetery. So yeah, there you go. You can see it. There's a cemetery over there, and it's right along the N233. So it is even before Batuverdorp. Right. There you go. Another problem, another mystery solved. Right, time to go back to the the camera controls and have a look. Hey, JB Paagman, goedemorgen, good morning. The church is in Leinden, Dirk-Kantoor says. Right, and Vueling is the first to come to Polderbaan, Marissa says. That's good news, means that the traffic that you can see now on flight radar in the vicinity of The Hague, the triplet is coming. Vueling the first. The cemetery for plane spotters. It's where YouTube streaming channels go to die. No. Right, it's the calm before the storm. Not much going on in terms of arriving traffic. There are two airplanes, two Embraer 190s that are presumably still going to the center runway, even though Polderbaan officially reopens 15 minutes from now. Gary asks if the sugar silos at Halfweg are now hotel or office buildings. I think it's one of those places where you can rent rooms if you need to host a meeting or something. Not an event center, but for business. If you need to do remote work or if you need to host a meeting or something. I thought it was something like that. You can probably look it up if you Google Sugar Factory Halfweg. You'll probably end up on their website and they'll tell you what you can do and rent or buy over there. And Leon says that the church seems to be offices for IT consultancy now. Okay. Well, I do know that there are also churches, at least I know of a church in Haarlem North, where they redeveloped it and they made apartments from it. Also interesting to live in what used to be a church. So a bit to the south, things now begin to look a bit more open once again. The blue is not too far away. It's further to the west though, but the wind is blowing from the south, so I think we need to look in this direction to see what's coming this way. I think the last two airplanes to the center runway have turned in or are about to turn in. I think I have one of them already. The cloudy backdrop makes for a nice contrast. You can see things rather early. I think this is KLM flight 1754 arriving from Hamburg. There's also an Embraer 190 arriving from Stansted that should still be somewhere behind it. Question is, can we see it? I think on paper we ought to be able to see it. I think those clouds are a bit higher but yeah, you never know. I also don't know exactly where I need to look. It's probably a bit lower because further to the north. Maybe not. Hey, interesting. Ambulance here on the cycling path. Not using sirens, so it's not a vehicle with priority. Seen that before. It's not the first time that I've seen an ambulance here on the cycling path, driving there for no apparent reason. Howdy Marco, goedemorgen. And welcome to the show, all others. Floris, goedemorgen. And indeed, QJ, Marissa already confirmed that the wedding is going to be the first to the Polderbaan. And check it out, lovely backdrop. Even though it is still far away, I love the way the clouds form a beautiful backdrop against which the airplanes are approaching. This is KLM flight 1755 arriving from Hamburg. It's the penultimate airplane to the center runway. German Airways, flying on behalf of KLM, flight time 42 minutes. Embraer 190, the damn well, 17 years old. Hailing from the year 2008, probably from January. Yoka asks if we are going to see the Emirates. Absolutely. The Emirates and the Atlas Air 747 are both expected in half an hour or so from now. And by then, Polderbaan is going to be the only runway in use for arrivals. Center is going to close after this and the next airplane behind it have landed. And the Vueling that you can see on flight radar is going to be the first airplane to land on the Polderbaan. It's been 2 hours that, in hindsight, at least to me, went by rather quickly. Hope that also goes for you guys. Hey! Steven Seagal has arrived. Or should I say Steven Seagal? I think it's Steven Seagal. There he is. Now, let me quickly go back to the computer and thank JB Pagman, for your super chat. A good stream needs a coffee. Groetjes Hans. Hans, thank you so much for your kind words and for your virtual cup of coffee. I'll gladly accept it. That is very sweet. Thank you so much, Hans. That is really sweet. Now, in the meantime, one more airplane to the center runway and then Polderbaan is going to be the primary runway for arrivals. The Emirates A380 and Atlas Air 747 both are expected minutes apart from one another. Might get a combo shot out of it. Wouldn't that be a nice little treat for us, having waited for the reopening of the Polderbaan for 2 hours? Bill J says, might have to rebrand the stream cemetery tours. Is that something you would be interested in, Bill? Really? Jörg says, it was quality time for me. Well, I'm happy if you guys are happy. I'm somebody who always gets bored really quickly. I need variation and things. Often things in life, when they get repetitive, get boring to me. I usually project my own feelings to what other people might also think. So I think if I think it's boring, you guys probably think so too. Lesson learned. Assumption is the mother of all F-ups. But still, I'm going to be very cautious to return to the Polderbaan on sunny days when it's in use for arrivals in the upcoming time, until Schiphol or Bezoekbus or some other website or instance has published more information about until when they're going to prolong this measure, because apparently they're still prolonging it, or maybe they miswrote it and said up to when they actually meant up to and including. Now, I am going to be off tomorrow. I have to work on Tuesday and Wednesday, so if there's wind from the south, I will have 3 days to see what is going to happen in actual practice. The first airplane to the Polderbaan. It is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, about time. Now, for those of you joining us, welcome to the show. Also have a look on flight radar quickly before things are starting to get alive and kicking again. The 2 airplanes of interest are approaching Dutch airspace. Emirates is now just entering Dutch airspace. Its ETA is 12:19. Atlas Air is still traversing the Gulf of Yorkshire and its ETA is 12:18. That's just 1 minute apart, and the ETAs of these 2 airplanes have been within minutes of one another all the time now. So I'm very cautiously hoping we are going to see those 2 airplanes back to back on the glide slope with the backdrop that you see right now. Beautiful cloudy backdrop. If I am going to zoom in, you can see what I mean. How sweet is this? Clouds being illuminated by the sun, all different shades of gray. And then imagine a glide slope shot of 2 quad squad members back to back. Wouldn't that be something? Both airplanes have been confirmed for Polderbaan now, as expected. Here we go, check it out. This is the good stuff. So we have Vueling flight 8309, Han's favorite, coming in from Barcelona. Especially for you, Han, the very first airplane of the reopened Polderbaan, your favorite airline. Spot the dot with Vueling. And you can see the gear extending beautifully against that white cloudy backdrop on the KLM 777 that is behind it. KLM flight 706 arriving from Rio de Janeiro. And it's double triple time because there is another 777 coming in right after that. It's the other airplane that is arriving from Latin America. KLM flight 792 arriving from Sao Paulo. And thank you, Joel, who is tuning in from New York City. Beautiful focus, absolutely, it is the money shot. Over here on the Polderbaan, those glide slope shots are second to none. Well, the only thing that could be better is if we have southwesterly crosswind and the airplanes are crabbing, looking our way. That's the icing on the cake. It doesn't get better than that. There's the third airplane turning in, that's KLM flight 792 arriving from Sao Paulo. Spatial separation is a bit too big to be very closely zoomed in. Oh, and I still have autofocus on. Quickly back to manual focus, here we go. Right, it's the first airplane landing on Polderbaan after it has been closed for 2 hours. Vueling, Hans' favorite, flight 8309. Can I still follow the airplanes? Do I still know how to do it? I think we do. Here it is. Spot the dot, it's still in place. Yay! We are back in business. Oh, yeah, done. Thanks, volume. Yeah. Apologies, yeah. Well, no mistaking it. It was set so much higher, it probably sounded terrible. It's back to the default setting, it should be A-OK again. Yeah, that only was the first airplane. You guys will notice, you notice it right away. Lance also back in the chat, good to see you, mate. This is KLM flight 706, it's number 9 on flight radar, tracked by 312 people. Number 6 on flight radar, tracked by 312 people. 777-200, arriving from Rio de Janeiro. That's Russell in the foreground. And a low-key wheelie. Notice how the flaperon is not part of the spoiler system on the 777s. Next time we are going to see a Dreamliner, you can see the difference. Flapperons on the Dreamliners serve a triple purpose. What are you doing, Boyd? Boyd Husemeyer, lunch is on me, he says in Dutch. That is an extremely generous super chat, boy. What the fudge, mate. Thank you so much. Coming in with a bang. What are you doing, mate? That is extremely generous. Above and beyond, mate. Thank you so much, Boyd. That is truly amazing. Mate, thank you so much. Wow. What is up today with you guys? In a good way. I mean, I'm flabbergasted here. The support is overwhelming. I'm humbled. I'm lost for words. Thank you so much. Boyd, thank you. And all the others as well. There was a torrent of gifted memberships earlier in the stream. Many new gifted members. And this is KLM Flight 792 arriving from Sao Paulo. In typical KLM fashion, idle reverse landing. Spotlessly clean flap surfaces, those wide bodies of KLM. I still don't know where KLM hides its car wash for airplanes, but they have to have one. I'm almost certain of it. So, here we go. Another two airplanes on the glide slope. E2 Embraer 195 in the foreground. KLM Flight 936 arriving from Glasgow. KLM Flight 1602 arriving behind it. That's the 737 arriving from Rome. Widening the shot a little. Is there anything else coming in? We should see a third airplane turning in the background. From the left, KLM Flight 1020 arriving from Leeds. Another Embraer 190. In the meantime, I am heading over to the computer once again because Boyd not only went ahead and came in with a stupendously generous super chat just now, he also became our latest Aurora Sky Lounge member. Boyd, thank you so much for your support and for your vote of confidence and choosing the Aurora Sky Lounge as your place to hang out in. If you need to know where stuff is, our members will happily show you around. Whoa, what's that banking? Boyd, thank you so much and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Now, you have custom emojis at your disposal, 28 of them. Use them. That goes for all members, new and old. They're there for a reason. Don't forget to use those custom emojis, guys. I've created them with care and a lot of them in conjunction with you guys. They're your favorites for a part. So don't be afraid to use them. Spamming is not allowed, but you are allowed to use custom emojis as much as you want, even if it is inappropriate. In fact, those are often the funniest. But this is an interesting landing. It wobbled a little. Next airplane to come in. But first, another heading over to the computer because we just now once again saw Jörg going ahead, gifting 5 memberships. Mate, thank you so much. You really didn't have to do that, Jörg. But I keep sounding like a broken record. You keep doing it. And also Wolfgang. I'm first filming the arrival here. We've waited too long now to miss out on airplanes landing here on the Polderbaan. This is KLM Flight 1602 arriving from Rome. And it's illuminated by the sunshine. What? I'm looking behind me and I'm not seeing any sun. I'm standing here in the shade like the shady figure that I am. Discrimination. Why are the airplanes getting this light? And I'm not jealous, but what's going on? And where did the sun shine from? There's a cloud over there. That's odd. Right, that was KLM Flight 1602 arriving from Rome. Meanwhile, before I forget... I already said it, but I also want to highlight it. Wolfgang also just now went ahead and gifted 5 memberships. That's probably courtesy of you guys going through 500 likes for the stream, which I'm surprised by, given that 2 hours of them were filled with airplanes in the distance. Thank you so much, Wolfgang. You didn't have to do that. That also goes for Jörg. You guys didn't have to do that, but you went ahead and did it anyway. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, all new members. If you ever receive a gifted membership, first of all, enjoy it. Second of all, don't forget to thank the gifter. If you are enjoying your gifted membership, consider renewing it or maybe gifting somebody else a gifted membership who might also enjoy it. This is KLM flight 1020, arriving from Leeds. It's number 190. Bridgie Hopper flying it. 50 minutes underway. Registration, Golf, Charlie, Mike, Whiskey, India. How to practice the alphabet. 11-year-old airplane, first flight February 2014. Sue me, boy. Jörg says. Whoo. Right. Next thing I'll do tomorrow is reach out to my lawyer. I want to sue a member who is gifting memberships. Hey. Hey. Captain Wheelie, is that you, mate? No. That was a nice wheelie, but that's not Captain Wheelie record length. But that was, technically speaking, aerodynamic braking. Hey there, Flight Connect. Hey there, Annie Watson. Hey there, all other viewers who have joined. Damien, Mike, and all the others. Welcome back, guys. Finally, action here on the Polderbaan, and the A380 and an Atlas Air 747 are expected within half an hour. In fact, within 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, if all is well. Arriving from JD's hometown of Düsseldorf, this is KLM flight 1800 on the horizon. Absolutely lovely backdrop. Right now, it is the only airplane coming in. Yeah, the next airplane coming in is coming in from the left, but it is still a bit further out. Tom says, why did I see someone push their glasses up as you say that? That's because I actually do it when I'm saying it. I'll show you. Technically speaking, that's called aerodynamic braking. Something I always do. Anyway, if all is well, the next airplane turning in from the left should become apparent in a few moments. KLM flight 1088 arriving from Cardiff. Hey, Emirates A380 is also flying over Merkermeer. Can we see it already? Now, back when I was further to the north, the scale of chimney smoke was where Purmerend was behind. So from Purmerend onwards, we ought to be able to see the Emirates A380, normally speaking. It's now in the vicinity of Volendam. It's probably still a bit further to the left, to the right. I'm scanning the sky to see if I can already spot the A380 in the distance. It's still a bit further out, and I'm not sure it is low enough already for us to be able to see from over here. Had there been no clouds, we normally should be able to see it already. I'm a bit afraid that it might still be in the clouds as we speak. Still a bit too far away. Right, this is the KLM arriving from Düsseldorf. It's a couple of narrow bodies preceding the A380. So on the scale of chimney, the scale of chimney smoke over there, that's where Purmerend is approximately. And on paper, that's now so also where the well, no on paper. Here it is. Here it is. Didn't think we were able to see it from over here, and you can see it is still hiding between the clouds on occasion. So lucky glimpse of the A380 there. That begs the question, where is the 747? The 747 unfortunately is still a bit further away. If you look on Flight Radar, you can see it is still further away from the glide slope than the Emirates A380 is. So we aren't going to see a combo shot. Then again, that might also be better, because then at least we can watch both landings more elaborately, more extensively, and not have to go back to film number 2's arrival when number 1 just landed. Emirates Flight 147, 2 Embraer 190s preceding it. The Emirates is still flying base. It does look like there is a KLM 777-200 from Atlanta going to sneak in between the two. Yeah, indeed, Flores. A380, 777, and then a 747 in succession. That's good. The 777 will act as a sort of buffer, allows us to see the landing of the A380 more elaborately. Then maybe miss part of the approach, maybe just film the touchdown of the triple. Leave that early, and we should film the approach of the 747 in detail. Indeed, Joke. There's 2 flights of Emirates, 2 A380 flights flying to Amsterdam on a daily basis. And the second one is landing here at night. Now, with the clock shifting an hour forward next weekend from Saturday to Sunday, and with the daylight lengthening, that second arrival should pretty soon happen during daylight conditions. Right. There's always a lot to see at Schiphol Airport. There's a lot preceding the A380. Unfortunately, being a narrow body preceding the Emirates A380, it isn't going to get much love here today. Yeah, and if you think, why are the lights looking so pixelated? That's because I'm very much in the top end of digital zoom, in addition to optical zoom. Look at the cloudy backdrop. How sweet is that? Gives you a little perspective of size. You already know that the machine in the foreground is humongous, and you know that the clouds are in the background, so you can just see how big those clouds are. It's always humbling, I think. Makes you realize that man is only very small. KLM Flight 622 is turning in. That's a 777-200 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Let's go overboard again with a little bit of zoom. Just so that we can see the gear extending pretty soon. Atlas Air is still flying base. It's going to turn in next. Should become the 3rd airplane on this magnificent glide slope. Still in the digital zoom range, not yet back to the top end of my optical zoom, which, for those of you who are wondering, equates to roughly 600 millimeters full frame equivalent. You can see the gear extending now on the triple. This is back to the top end of optical zoom. Now we're no longer magnifying pixels. I'm hoping that we are going to see the 747 turn in from the left. I think the spatial separation is a little bit too big. What a pity. Oh, only just. Only just. Right, well, let's have a look at the Emirates A380 landing here at Schiphol Airport. Number 2 on flight radar, 6 hours and 33 minutes on the way. Absolutely nominal flight duration. Unfortunately, that is an idle reverse landing. Could have been louder, but what a wonderful landing it was. Leaving the runway. Making room for KLM flight 622. 777-200 from KLM, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Somebody on a moped is going to pass by pretty soon. Now, being caught in between the A380 and the 747, the next airplane landing, not going to get much love. We can see its touchdown, and that's all we are going to see of it, because here is the airplane we've been waiting for. Atlas Air arriving from Miami, flight 5579. 7 hours and 55 minutes on the way, 25 years old already. First flight of this Queen was back in August 1999. And I'm quickly going to enable image stabilizer because the wind is causing a few shudders. 25-year-old airplane, first flight August 1999. It's the November 498 Mike Charlie. The airplane behind it is a 737-800 arriving from Kayseri in Turkey, Sun Express. Atlas Air flight 5579. Now the first Queen that landed went to the wrong runway, unfortunately. It was all white. Also Atlas Air also coming in from Miami, Florida. The A380 just now landed with idle reverse. Question is, what is Atlas going to do? Let's look and listen. Yes. That was nice and sweet. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Proper use of the reversers. Thank you so much, Atlas Air pilots. That was terrific. Now, I should have told you beforehand, but AMS Live cannot be held accountable for loss to hearing or to speakers. Maria says, thanks for the great entertaining stream today, very enjoyable. Now it is time for bed. Maria, thank you so much for keeping us company all throughout your evening. Sleep well, hope to see you again later in the week. We're continuing with the stream here, but Maria is signing off. Thank you, Maria, sleep well. I hope to see you again in the next one later in the week. Sarah asks, wasn't it worth waiting? Absolutely. Absolutely was. I'm happy that we did, and I'm happy that you guys stuck with me. Now, not sure what the next big airplane is going. Oh, Corendon A350 is coming in a matter of minutes. If you don't have to be anywhere, stick around because Corendon World to Fly Flight 598, the airplane I think we happened to see take off to Curacao yesterday, is returning from that destination. The flaps and slats have already retracted. Sun Express in the meantime landed here just now. I also see that ULS Cargo is returning with an A310, but its ETA unfortunately is 111, so that is probably going to go to the center runway then. Now, Corendon A350, World to Fly. It is flying off the coast in the vicinity of Beverwijk. It's just a hunch of where I think we need to look. Don't know if we can see it from over here, but I am going to give it a go. Gave it a go. Now the clouds are causing a beautiful backdrop, but as you could see with the A380, they are also in the way sometimes. Next airplane coming in is Shamrock Flight 604. It is returning from Dublin, Ireland. It's an A320. Its flight time is 1 hour and 9 minutes. Another airplane in the background is turning in. That would be Anadolu Jet arriving from Istanbul, 737-800, the next airplane to land here. After that airplane, the Corendon World to Fly A350 is going to land next. The heat wave distortion makes it seem as if it is the mid of summer here. And although it is a bit warmer now with the sun shining, and it's not cold by any means, it's not as warm as the camera makes it seem. I'm all surprised when looking at different live streams from different locations, and particularly warm locations, like for instance LAX, I'm surprised that I don't see as much heat wave distortion as I am seeing with my humble camera. I'm wondering, is my camera maybe very overly sensitive, or do you need to use different lenses or something? Really odd. Something passing overhead. Question is, where is it? Answer, right there. That's a KLM Embraer. Interestingly, looking big picture wise to the west, and particularly immediately overhead, big patch of blue. Looking to the north, a bit more cloudy. Looking land inward to the east, even more cloudy. Now looking to the south, the sun is shining here. And it's actually looking rather nice. Southwest, even more so. The nose, however, still sounds stuffy. And that's something I intend to fix. The Corendon A350 now on the left is turning in. Number 2, Corendon World to Fly A350 arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. Coming in next. Quick elephant in the room. It's also getting a bit warm with the sun now out. I'm still standing here with my parka on. At least I'm going to unzip the zipper. So, hey, Don says Suparna 747 popped up on Flight Radar. It has had its pushback already. Suparna is flying to China. They usually take off from runway 24. If it is open, they'll usually do a right-hand turn and come this way and pass overhead. So if that is going to leave after the A350 has landed, we should be able to follow it all the way until it has passed by us to the north. Done that before, those long follows. I like them. I think many of you like them too. So if you guys could give me a heads up when Suparna is lined up on runway 24. And this is A-Jet and the Dolo Jet in the new livery. I like it. Minimalistic, but not in the way that Transavia or the new Iceland Air livery is minimalistic. Suparna has been assigned to runway 24, that's good news. So that is probably going to come this way. There's always the off chance that it's going to make a left-hand turn, just like Singapore Airlines did, but usually they come this way. Now to the north we still have this beautiful cloudy backdrop against which the A350 from Corendon World to Fly is coming to the Polderbaan. 8 hours and 46 minutes underway. It's the ECNZF November Zulu Foxtrot. The airplane a year old, first flight May 2023. Slowly but surely drifting in. Wonderful sight to behold. In the meantime, I'm taking a sip of AMS Live vodka to stay properly hydrated here. Initially the airplanes were having crosswind from the right. They were pointing away a bit from us. Usually on this runway the wind is from the southwest. And the airplanes usually crab a little bit towards us. In the morning they were crabbing a little bit away from us. And now the wind is still mostly from the south. In other words, directly headwind. Direct headwind. cloudy vistas. It's a bit open to the south, more open to the west, more closed to the east, and a bit so-so to the north. I love the cloudy backdrop. Makes for beautiful glide slope shots. We have two Transavia 737-800s coming in. Don says that the Superna is currently rolling. Will keep me updated. Absolutely terrific. Thank you so much. If it is lined up, let me know. If it's the next airplane to take off from runway 24, by all means do let me know. And do it well in advance, because yesterday we found out that there's always a bit of lag in flight radar and what is actually going on, and then the stream and the chat. Don't want to be too late. It's probably going to make for a nice long follow. They often, if they take off from runway 24, they often make a right-hand turn and head to the northeast via the west, if you're still following. It's a pity that there's so much heat wave distortion. But look at how beautifully lit the cloud in the backdrop is. Wonderful to see. Jörg is leaving for today. Jörg, thank you so much for joining us here today. Nice that you found the time to join us again. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, mate, and hope to see you again pretty soon. If all is well, my next stream after today is going to be Thursday. Next weekend here in mainland Europe, the time is going to go ahead an hour in the night from Saturday to Sunday. That will also mean that the Emirates A380 is no longer going to land on Polderbaan so regularly, because it will more often than not land between 1 and 2 p.m. local time. So that means it's probably going to go back to the secondary runway for arrivals pretty soon. Don says that the 747 is about to line up. No plane to get in front, so first in line. Absolutely beautiful. Thanks for the update. In that case, well, yeah, let's just wait and see. The World to Fly Corendon in the meantime cleared the fire station, on its way. Rolling, okay. Zooming out, let's have a look. Hey Ricardo, fijne dag nog. Bedankt dat je er weer was. Thank you for joining, Ricardo, and enjoy the rest of your day. Suparna 747 rolling on runway 24. About to emerge pretty soon. Let's hope she's going to make a right-hand turn, come this way. It's going to make for a nice long follow. If it does. There it is. Now, let's see. Is it climbing steeply enough to clear the trees? Not the initial tree, but I think the rest should be okay. It's turning in. Yeah, it's coming this way. That's good news. That's good news. Means we can continue to follow it until it has passed us by. I have to turn the camera in the right way. Should be able to follow it. Has to clear the trees first. Or have I... No, it's the wrong direction. Let's quickly turn that around. Don't get dizzy. This is the best way. Now it's opening up again. And here we have the Suparna. absolutely terrific. It did precisely what I hoped it was going to do. Clouds a little in the way, but there you go. Exactly what I hoped it was going to do. Let's quickly hop over the wires. There we go. Right. Back to the inbound traffic to the Polderbaan. This is EasyJet flight 22925 arriving from Bristol. TUI Max 8 is behind it, coming in from Kittilä over there. And there is a third airplane that you can see at the 7 o'clock, but above the first airplane. 7 o'clock of the second airplane. The lights are on, so you ought to be able to see it. makes you realize just how vast the sky actually is when you see vistas like that. And this is Gesta. Gesta, name of this airplane. Marissa also has to go. Thank you for joining, Marissa. Hope to see you again later in the week. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Yoka asks if I also filmed the big airplanes of KLM when they had big airplanes. I'm not exactly sure that I understand your question. Our next airplane coming in is TUI. TUI Max 8 arriving from Kittilä. 2 hours 53 minutes on the way. The PHTFN, 6 years old. First flight November 2018. Ah, the one with 4 engines. You mean the airplanes before the 747? Because I don't think I've been around so long. Back in my childhood, I know that KLM was still flying 747s. Back then it were 200s and maybe 300s or 400s. And of course the MD-11s and the DC-10s, but I'm not sure were those from KLM or were those from Northwest, or were they hybrids? Well, I did go spotting in my childhood, but that was back with an analog camera, so I still have pictures that are a bit faded from the 1990s when I went spotting back when I was still in elementary school. Went with my mom to Schiphol on regular occasions. Used to take pictures from the platform, the panorama rooftop terrace, which back then was still in an L shape. Now it's just one part of the rooftop that is still terrace. Back when I was small, it still went around the corner, and you could also go to the gates where the big airplanes were parked more regularly. Now, let's see. Airplanes coming in. Ah, Saudia is also coming in pretty soon, arriving from Jeddah. A Dreamliner that is now 5th or 6th to arrive. This is Transavia flight 82. Coming in from IVL. Ivalo. Where's that? It sounds like it's in Scandinavia or something, but I'm not sure. Hadi Stef, goedemiddag. Steph is greeting us from Delft in the Netherlands in the province of South Holland, a bit further to the south. Finland, Robin says. Okay. Johnny is back. Good to see you. Hey there, Duffy. Good afternoon to you too. Welcome to the show, one and all. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing here at the Polderbaan. It reopened again around noon. And if you only joined us now or just now, you may have missed the arrival of the Emirates A380 and 2 airplanes later, an Atlas Air 747 arriving from Miami, Florida. This is Top Air Portugal, flight 668, coming in from Lisbon, A320neo, 2 hours and 41 minutes on the way. The airplane a year old, first flight October 2023. Not being piloted by pilots, but by tap dancers. Draait zich ein Drittel also back in the chat, servus. And that, I think, is the Saudia Dreamliner turning in. It's number 3 to arrive, with Transavia in the foreground and another Transavia on top of it. Now at its 1 o'clock, 2 consecutive Transavias. There's a Saudia Dreamliner arriving from Jeddah, bringing us Jeddah nights. Transavia just now landed. On the right we have Transavia flight 546. It is arriving from Kitila. It's a 737-800, and on the left we have Saudia flight 215 arriving from Jeddah. Sky Express is turning in the background. That's usually a bit lower. Oh no, wait, I'm wrong. Yeah, it is a bit lower than the Dreamliner, but only a little. Oh. You can see the distortion by the heat of the exhaust gases obscuring the view of the little airplane behind it. Kietelaar. Indeed. Somebody who tickles. Clemencia is leaving. Fijne zondag. You too. Thank you so much for joining, Clemencia. And see you Thursday. Tot donderdag. Let's have a look at the Jeddah nights coming in from Saudi Arabia. Saudi flight 215. 5 hours and 52 minutes on the way to get here. It's the Hazara. It's Hotel Zulu Alpha Romeo Alpha. It's a 9-year-old airplane. The first flight was in January 2016. Draait zich ein Drittel wonders, no ducks today? No, they are there. Definitely they are there. Donald and Daisy have been spotted. They actually are napping now after they have had a nice lunch. Here they are, Donald and Daisy, taking a little nap. Super sweet. So they are still there. Draait zich ein Drittel. And here we have Saudia flight 215 arriving from Jeddah. It is a 7879 Dreamliner today, not a 10. 5 hours 53 minutes the flight time. The sun is trying its best to shine on the airplane. Over here it is shining a little bleakly, but still very clouded for the better part of the sky over here, particularly in the east. God bless you. Hatschu, Gesundheit. As I was saying before, with the 777, the flaperon stays put. On Dreamliners, you can see it is part of the spoiler system, the speed brakes. And once those lower, you can see that and here we see it, that the flaperon goes back into the flap position and moves up and down if they apply left or right aileron. Dan says, Atlas Air on flight radar assigned to runway 24, not yet pushed back, going to Hong Kong. Also a candidate to come this way. If it hasn't been pushed back yet and it isn't taxiing to runway 24 yet, who knows how long it might still take before it's actually going to take off. But keep us posted. Johnny asks, since it's almost 8 p.m. here, so I would like to ask when again do you do a live stream? If the weather is favorable and will allow me to go out, the next stream after today is going to be on Thursday. Tomorrow is my off day and Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my work days. So I will go back live again on Thursday and hopefully also on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. It's always weather permitting. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we are expecting nice weather, at least dry weather in the upcoming week. I thought that they said that today and yesterday were going to be the wettest days. Maybe a few droplets tomorrow, but come Thursday, I think, at least last time I checked the weather forecasts, it should be dry in the next weekend as well. So and Johnny also asks about the A318 that we saw earlier. Is that a rare one in the skies? It absolutely is. It absolutely is. A318s were never very popular to begin with, so not a lot have been produced and have been flying, and nowadays they're becoming ever more of a rarity. I think Air France is now the only one that still flies them, or are there others still? Have all other carriers retired them? The A318 is definitely a rarity, although Air France does use it every now and then to fly to Amsterdam, so you can still see it over here, just like how the A340-600 is also becoming rarer by the day, and also the 767-400 is also quite rare. Yesterday we were lucky enough to see a Delta 767-400, which diverted from London Heathrow and went back to London Heathrow yesterday. Now, in addition to that, it was also a special livery, the breast cancer research special livery. United also has 767-400s that have flown to Amsterdam on a daily basis on stints. Last stint I think was last year summer. And if I'm not mistaken, they are expecting or planning to use it again in the upcoming summer. Right, indeed. I was also wondering about Tarom. I thought they had a couple and I thought they retired one. I'm not sure if they still had one operational or if they now officially retired all of them. There was one that they were going to retire, but they pulled it out of retirement again, didn't they? Or was that just a temporary measure? Right, there's a KLM A330-200 arriving from Port of Spain, and it should be flying northwest of me. Now the sky over there is blue, so I'm looking over the camera to see if I can spot something. The answer is sadly no. So for now I am focusing on what we can see best, and that's the arrival of Kuwait Airways flight 127. A320neo arriving from Kuwait City. Surprisingly to some of you perhaps, just like KM Malta, always going and coming to and from Malta. What? How remarkable. 6 hours and 4 minutes the flight time. That seems logical if you consider that Kuwait is a little bit further to the north than the Emirates, and Emirates usually fly 6.5 hours, or they take 6.5 hours to get here. Peter Miller says, seems all 4 A318 of Tarom are out of service meanwhile. Okay, so they did have them until recently, but now apparently all are officially have gone on retirement. I spy with my little eye that there's also a Qatar 777-300 arriving from Doha, arriving from the east. It's actually starting to get a little warm here. That's nice. The sun once again out. Let's see. BizJet arriving from Farnborough. Tag Aviation Malta. Lovely airplane. 9H flying. Embraer Phenom with the registration 9H flying. Wonder if it's coming to the Polderbaan. Would be nice. It's at 8,000 feet, so I guess probably it won't. It probably will be directed to the Oostbaan. Looking at the way it is flying. Yeah, it's not coming. That's a pity. Little bit of reverser use there. And just in time. The hatch opened. And the first officer giving us a little wave. Lovely. Perfect timing, mate. Meanwhile, more airplanes are drifting in. I'm quickly heading over to the computer. Thank you, 33 for your super sticker per character, doing a shaka sign with his hand saying cool. Thank you so much for that, 33. We're going to see a few wide bodies again pretty soon. For now, we have to make do with the narrow bodies. Ryanair is coming in first, and a Bombardier C-Series 300 from Air France is behind it. Hey Noah Jens, good afternoon. And welcome to the show, one and all. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, and we're standing here at Polderbaan, runway 18 right. Initially, I was hoping it was going to stay open in the morning hours, and I was wrong. So for 2 hours, we were standing here and have been filming cemeteries, chapels, sugar factories, birds. And airplanes going to the center runway. Ryanair in the meantime showing us that their airplanes are equipped with reverse thrust. Hamish is also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Hey there, Björn. Almost a high blue from KLM. Indeed, absolutely. That was lovely to see. So yeah, things look a bit grim to the east and have been all throughout the stream. Showers more land inward, or at least in the morning there were showers. I'm not sure if it's still showers or just cloudiness. Looking directly to the south, we're right on the edge of where things are a bit more gloomy and where things are or were until recently a bit more open. Far to the west, looking at the horizon, you can see blue skies. That's where the sea is, and that's usually where not a lot of clouds are formed on days like today. Looking to the north, it is also cloudy. But that's okay because that makes for a gorgeous backdrop against which the airplanes to the Polderbaan are landing. We're going to see 2 wide bodies back to back after 2 narrow bodies have landed. This is a beautiful A220 from Air France arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Special compartment for mothers-in-laws, their own private suite. This is the Hazui. And the Embraer 190 is coming in next. Dutch Planes is also at the Polderbaan. It's busy at the Polderbaan today. Once it reopened, you can see more people. There are people over there. There are people in the background. If you look to the fence, absolutely busy at the parking lot by the looks of it. There's also a lot of people to the north of me. Pedestrians continuing further to the north. So we have an Embraer 190 coming in next. More interestingly, we have 2 wide bodies against a gorgeous cloudy backdrop that are numbers 2 and 3. Right, Ian has to go. Ian, thank you for joining. Hope to see you again later in the week during the next streams. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate. We have KLM flight 787 on the right. That's an A330 coming in from Port of Spain. And on the left we have a Qatar 777-300ER, which is arriving from Doha. What a lovely sight to behold. Glide slope shots against a beautiful cloudy backdrop. Polderbaan at its finest, I dare to say. Now pretty soon, since it is almost 1 o'clock, Center Runway is going to open. I initially thought that the Qatar was going to go to the Center Runway. I was wrong, and I'm happy that I was wrong in this respect, because look at the beautiful glide slope shot it is forming. Andy G says, funny, flight 787 is an A330. That's a running gag of KLM. If you pay close attention to it, you can see that KLM flight 767 is flown by a 777. Flight 777 is flown by an A320 or A321. Just to give a few examples, I'm not sure about the examples that I just now gave, but they have a running gag where the flight number is an airplane type and the flight is being flown by a different airplane than the airplane type of the flight number, if you're still catching my drift. Hey there, Jen. Good to see you. Yeah, if pay attention to it, Andy, and you'll start to see they have several flight numbers that are airplane type numbers, but are operated by different airplane types in actuality. Really funny. Talking about jokes in the world of aviation, a lot of you will probably know, but some of you might not, that the 3 Dreamliners of TUI are PHTF, and then the last letter of the registration is K and L and M. And that's a little sneer to KLM, who also ordered Dreamliners but got delivered their Dreamliners later than TUI did. So it was a little joke towards KLM. This is Qatar flight 273 arriving from Doha, 777-300ER, 6 hours and 31 minutes on the way. The A7 Baz, Bravo Alpha Zulu, 11 years old, first flight March 2013. Hadi Nico, goedemiddag. Better late than never, right? Flap surface inspection. The outer flap surface looks okay, but the inner is a bit grimy. Not up to the standard of KLM by any means. We were lucky to have been able to see the Qatar 777 just now, because guess what? Center is now also open for arrivals. Parallel arrivals have begun. They're going to stay in progress until 2 o'clock, presumably. There's a Turkish A310 in Dutch airspace already that is coming in from Istanbul, and also Turkish with a 7879 Dreamliner. They're both going to go to the wrong runway, but they are interesting enough for me to stick around for them. Over here on Flight Radar, looking in the west, it's narrow bodies galore. A non-stop slew of narrow bodies, almost in a straight line into the heartland of France. Not seeing anything. Oh wait, no, I was wrong. KLM 777 arriving from Lima in Peru, flying over the southwest of England. That's the first wide body coming in. That's still expected in 54 minutes from now. I'm not going to stick around until then. I am planning on sticking around until the A310 from ULS has landed on center and the 7879 Dreamliner from Turkish. I think that is going to make for the last airplane of today's show. Hadi M. Visser, back at Polderbaan indeed, although a bit too soon in hindsight. The runway was closed from 10 until 12, but we persevered. Well, I say we persevered, it was the viewers who persevered in convincing me to stay. Because it turned out that the Polderbaan was still closed between 10 and 12 today. I have learned my lesson though today. I am going to see what happens first in the next couple of days, to see what the runway use is going to be like before going back here on a whim. Rob has to go. Rob, thank you for joining, mate. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and hope to see you again in the next one later in the week. So, my plan is to stick around until at least the A310 and the Dreamliner from Turkish have landed. They will land on the center runway, mind you, but since we already spent watching airplanes land on the center runway for 2 hours, 2 more, I think we ought to be able to handle. In the meantime, BA is landing over here. The sun is shining over there. I'm jealous. Over here, I'm standing in the shade. Then again, I am a shady figure, so seems appropriate, come to think of it. Flight 434, an A320 arriving from London Heathrow, which once again is back in normal operation, luckily. So parallel arrivals now in progress. Next airplane coming in to the center runway is KLM Flight 1294. That's arriving from Billund. It's a 737-800. Flight time 49 minutes. The PHBXZ. That's Bravo X-Ray Zulu. 17-year-old airplane, first flight February 2008. And the next airplane to the Polderbaan, where is it? Still has to turn in. So there's a bit of a gap with now 2 airplanes first going to the center runway before the next airplane to the Polderbaan will arrive. Gary in Amsterdam asks, we don't see a lot of BA planes here, right? Well, it depends on what you would describe as a lot. I mean, it's not as they're not as prevalent over here as KLM or EasyJet or Transavia are, but there's almost always several in the stream. It's not just KLM that flies between London City and now I think we also know why there's a little gap in the arrivals. It's not just KLM that flies to Heathrow and London City, it's also BA. So I don't think a single stream goes by without us seeing at least several BAs. BA City Flyer, Embraer 190 obviously to London City, and A320s to Heathrow. Now I don't think that we see airplanes to different locations of London. The EasyJets fly to Gatwick and Luton and Stansted. Don't think they fly between Heathrow and Amsterdam, do they? Meanwhile, over here, Chris Coote is doing a little swim. Also nibbling on some food by the looks of it. Are those small flies or? Also, you can see how the feathers are water repellent. You can see that the droplets are actually on top of them and not soaking into them. It's obviously something that we already know, but you can see it beautifully here. Water plane, indeed. Yeah, Coots, chapels, cemeteries, the show has it all. Here's his mate, lovely bow wave it is creating. Keeping up the speed. Two Coots for you, Jin, especially for you. Yeah, and Donald and Daisy are still napping. They're still in the grass over there. They settled and, well, no, wait, I spoke too soon. That's just Donald. Where has Daisy gone? Daisy was accompanying Donald earlier, but maybe she had to go to the bathroom? Hard to see. Hey, and that's a vehicle, a white vehicle. It was looking to be on runway terrain, airport terrain, but, well. Now the only thing driving here on the runway is K1. Still doing an inspection. Means that for the time being, once again, but we've gotten used to it by now in this stream today, traffic is going to the center runway. It's a temporary thing. You can see there's a runway inspection in progress, and once that's done, traffic will be cleared to land on this runway again. Now it's only temporary, Yvonne. They're just inspecting the runway, and once they're done with that, they are going to open it again. But the Polderbaan has been in use now again since 12, and they're doing an inspection. Peter says Daisy took Donald's credit card when he fell asleep and is now shopping in the city center. I was also thinking about that. Is she gone? And poor Donald. Now, the next airplane to the Polderbaan. In the meantime, according to, if Flight Radar positions the airplanes correctly, it should be on the glide slope already. And lo and behold, here it is. an A319 EasyJet arriving from Milan. So the closure of the Polderbaan was only temporary. It was only to do an inspection. In the meantime, the A310 is about to turn final for runway center. I'm also hearing stuff coming this way, passing overhead. But as you can see, the west is also becoming ever more clouded. There is an airplane over there. Is that a Chinese triple? I think it might be. Or is it an A330? No, it sounds like a triple. Chinese triple flying through the clouds and already above it now. Unfortunately, no longer able to see. We're no longer able to see it. EasyJet is coming in. Indeed, China Southern Cargo. This is EasyJet flight 23853 arriving from Milan, and in the and another airplane behind it. That's a KLM 737 arriving from Geneva. And flying parallel to it is the A310 arriving from Istanbul. So I'm doing my best, looking over the camera to see if I can spot the A310 already. On paper, you should be able to see it, if you know where you need to look. Why not just find out where we need to look by just slowly moving the camera to the right and see if we pick something up. I think if the A310 were visible, we ought to have seen it by now. Is that it? I think it is. It looks small and chubby. That's the A310 ULS Cargo. It's flying parallel to the 737 arriving from Geneva, the number 2 to the Polderbaan. Here we have EasyJet, and just such a lovely cloudy backdrop against which these airplanes are approaching the runway. It is beautiful to see. Lovely lighting. Third airplane also approaching in the distance. EasyJet arriving from Milan, 1 hour 21 minutes on the way, the OELKX. It is 13 years old. The first flight was in May 2011. And Wolfgang says that the A310 is nearly as rare as the A318 is. Is that so? I don't know for sure. I'll happily believe it. You don't see them very often, do you? Well, we are a bit spoiled, I guess, here at Schiphol Airport, seeing the A310 quite regularly. Or at least the last couple of weeks we have seen it on a regular occasion. It's always flying between Istanbul and Amsterdam. Don't recall it ever having seen it arrive from a different destination than from Istanbul. So yeah, flight number is THY6559 or TK6559. And that seems to indicate it is flying on behalf of Turkish ULS Airlines Cargo. A310 arriving from Istanbul. 3 hours and 8 minutes on the way. That's par for the course for an airplane coming in from Istanbul. It's an A310-300 freighter. This particular specimen is 33 years old, ladies and gentlemen. First flight was in December 1991. And that makes this airplane one of the oldest in today's stream, if not the very oldest. December 1991. I was still in elementary school and had another 3 years to go. Yeah, I think I went to middle school in 1994, September or October. So yeah. Andy G says that the A310 is the last Airbus model without fly-by-wire. It has a normal yoke. Wow, that I didn't know. So the A300 is already fly-by-wire then? Or is that even older? I'm not an expert on airplane history, let alone the history of Airbus. I do see that this is a new specimen, an A321neo from KLM coming in from Zurich, flight 1920. This is fax B. Flight time 1 hour and 4 minutes. It is a brand new airplane. First flight of this airplane was back in September last year. $300 is older, right? And the A310 is an evolution. I thought that it was, but so the A300 is also still with an old-fashioned yoke. Wow. I wonder, do the A310 and A300 flight management computers also call their pilots shortly before landing? Or is it just a thing of the newer airplanes? Alright, folks, this is going to be the last airplane for today's show. It is a Dreamliner from Turkish, coming in from Istanbul, Turkey. Unfortunately, it's going to the wrong runway, but then again, we have gotten used to seeing that in today's stream. Turkish flight 1957, 7879 Dreamliner, 2 hours 59 minutes underway, nominal flight duration. Andy doesn't know about the retard. If I grow old, I want to become an Airbus airplane so that I can call pilots retard. Right, Turkish flight 1957, 3 hours underway. Registration TCLLA Lima Alpha. KLM SkyTeam, in the meantime, landing here, the 737-900. This airplane is 5 years old. First flight was in June 2019. And Fipse asks, what's the reason that the airplanes are landing on the more faraway Polderbaan instead of center? It has to do with several things. First of all, with noise abatement. How much volume is the traffic producing for people living around Schiphol Airport? More people are bothered by the sound of landing airplanes if they land on center than on Polderbaan. The approach can happen over less populated areas. So the Polderbaan is one of the preferential runways together with the Kaagbaan for inbound and outbound traffic, because it hinders less people than using other runways. Second is, sometimes there is an inbound peak and you need more than one runway to facilitate all the inbound traffic. So that is why there are 2 runways open, so that you can split the difference and have, well, not split the difference, but split the traffic. Everything from the east goes to the easternmost runway, everything from the west to the westmost runway. So the reason not everything is going to center right now is it causes a lot more noise, and second of all, the runway does not have the capacity for all the inbound traffic. You need 2 runways. And in the distance we have the KLM 100 years 787-10 Dreamliner, a nice little something to look at while I am saying my goodbyes. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. I, after all, had a wonderful time here, even though I was very bummed out about the runway configuration. I'm glad you guys persuaded me to stick around. Thank you all so much for the tremendous support. The torrent of gifted memberships was immense in the beginning of the stream. I hope that everybody who received a gifted membership today has said thank you or will say thank you to the gifter. And use those custom emojis, guys. Don't forget them. They're there for a reason. If you like the stream and you haven't already, consider leaving another like. It brings in more people like yourselves who are into streams like these. Awesome folk who would want to join the community. My next stream is going to be Thursday, weather permitting. I hope you guys will have a great week until then. A massive big thank you for all the support, not just the memberships, the gifted memberships, but all the other forms of support as well. A big thank you to all the mods for once again keeping the stream friendly and accessible to all. I hope to see you all on Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Be safe, stay warm, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now, guys.